OK，
都可以。
好，现在开始录，然后这边快好了。
黄晨应该上线，然后那个
还有一位新的学生令仪，
对，令仪是就是法国人吧？
对
对。还有一个新的是日本人对。然后还有一个又选进来的叫做丽雅，我不知道他会不会来课堂上面。
他也不是远距的，
我不知道我有写信给他，没有回微信。
那就是还没有出现。
还有一个看起来是外国人，不是就是外国人。Noah， 我也不知道他是 physical student 还是怎么样。
No.
Yeah, do you know him?
Yeah.
Is it from here? IMEX? Not really.
I'm Mass, like me.
I'm sorry?
I'm Mass.
Oh.
M-A-S. Too many acronyms.
Oh, are you like the other program?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were from IMEX.
No,
You're not.
IMAS.
IMAS.
Right,
Okay.
right. But my undergrad is in communication, so
Oh, okay, got it. So IMAS is also another international program here.
Yes. It's focused in Asia Pacific studies.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
So is he coming to the physical class?
I saw him on Saturday, and he said he was.
In where?
We were having an IMAS get together.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So he's here in Taiwan. So
yes.
he's supposed
He's
to
been
come
here for
here.
a year.
Oh, cool.
Already,
Yeah,
so.
so he's supposed to come here in person.
I anticipate he'll probably be late.
Why?
That's just his style, I think.
Oh, okay.
I know it's not okay. I just.
Yeah, I have a principal that he didn't come to the first week of the class. So, okay, I'm not going to drop him because I don't have the power to drop him.
He's gonna have to be the person to come.
Yeah, but he's on my list right now. He was not on the list last week. He probably just chose all the courses this week, so
Right.
That's why. Okay, so now we know he will be able to attend the physical class. 可以分享 PowerPoint 吗？
可以。
Hello， 黄晨。
他好像没有。Hello, can you hear us? He's ready, getting ready.
所以那个日本人Matsuri，
他加入了，但他现在还没有在线上。
对，好。
OK。那老师如果要用 PPT 的时候，再请按
现在就可以了。
哦，现在就好。那我现在就来。
你分享桌面哦，桌面就好。对，就是桌面。
PPT 这个。对，
然后这样我比较喜欢这样，然后
这样就可以用全部。
对，然后影片或什么的也比较方便。
影片在这个地方。
然后你要那个，我忘记设了。延伸，我想要同步显示，以后都
自己一直跑到。
对，好像是这样，很神奇，对吧？等一下，重点是同步，他就会看到下一页，超好笑。
就没有。
Okay, welcome to the class. We have some changes of the roster list, like some students dropped the course. For example, the one that I asked him to practice his English. No, he's one of my students. No. Okay. That's not because of the English, because he told me that he didn't know that this course would be entirely taught in English. So he said, and he just found out that he has another required course in computer science course, so he has to take that one. So he already took my class like last semester, so he doesn't need to take the course. And also the guy who was here last week, and who didn't introduce himself, he's also one of my students. So they both elected this course for fun, so they both dropped the course. So there are some changes of the list, and some other new students selected courses, and I haven't met them yet. So I'm not sure whether they're going to join us online or physically. Like there's someone called Mahi Anova Pizzalia. So I'm not sure. So hopefully I get to know them before the semester. I mean, the end of the semester. Okay, so next week we're going to have pure fun. So what's your name?
I'm Ava.
Ava. Okay. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm Ava from NTU.
National Taiwan University.
Yeah, National Taiwan University. And my major is journalism. My undergraduate major is diplomacy and NCCU.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I already took like several courses in IMEX.
Oh, okay.
Including like last semester, another course is also about digital games and society.
Oh, really? In IMEX? Oh, yeah, from Nick Bowman, right?
Yeah, but
Online.
COVID-19.
Yeah, so he went back to the US.
Yeah, right.
And he's going to teach 6 courses for this class.
So he's the professor.
Hi,
Hi.
Noah.
Yes.
Fine.
Design.
Nice to meet you. You're not late. Cool.
Okay.
Awesome. No, just nothing. Yeah, so Ava? Yeah. So you took his class? Like 2 classes, 2 courses, or just one?
One.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so you probably know what he's going to talk about this semester, but
Yeah,
he's going to, yeah, but it's okay, but because his courses will be online, so it's optional for you to watch, and she's the one who's just sitting in the class, so she will be join us for a conversation. So and welcome to our class. Okay, so you're also welcome to come to the lab to play games next week. We're going to play lots of virtual reality games next week. But today we're going to have really hardcore course today. I like scrambled 2 weeks of content into 1 week. So I'm sorry today. I will be talking a lot today, but I'll give you questions and let you discuss a little bit. So next week we're going to meet at 320, which is 1 floor beneath us. This is 4th floor. So 320 will be the 3rd floor. If you go that way, you'll find a room 320. It looks like this. If you go inside, you have to take off your shoes. So remember, if you wear socks, you have to examine whether your socks have holes or not. Otherwise, we don't care. And there's no food and drinks allowed there. You can bring water in there, but no, like bubble tea or any other kind of tea or milk, or not water like liquid. So and no food allowed there. So do eat your breakfast and lunch or brunch before coming to the lab. And next week, we're going to prepare, like a facial mask for you, because I know some of you probably have makeup on your face. So we're going to let you wear goggles in order to play virtual reality games. So for personal purposes and for cleaning purposes, we'll give you like $5 facial mask or $7. Yeah, and you wear it and use it for the entire class. Okay, so next week will be very fun. You guys don't need to try Switch or other games, right? We're not going to waste time trying console games. We're going to directly go to virtual reality games. So we have probably like 15 to 18 people physically in this course and 3 to 5 people online. So I like all of you to have the chance to really, get to experience different content in virtual reality. I remember I asked you had some of the virtual reality experiences, but we're going to let you experience HTC 5, the first generation, or maybe I'll bring the Elite or something like the latest one. We'll see, but at least we'll have the HTC 5 equipment to experience. So there will be action games and horror games like zombie shooting and ghost house or paranormal activity, something like that. And there will be simulations, for example, like take the elevator to the really high building and then you walk out the plank. So who's afraid of height? Yeah, so you'll be the one who's experienced that. No, you're just standing on the plank. You walk out, and you get to see the beautiful sky and the height beneath of you. So that'll be interesting. And we'll have like calm and beautiful content as well, like under the sea and some really great reflection of live content like art. So we're going to have you experience Van Gogh. So Van Gogh had lots of paintings, and somebody make it like a real virtual reality world. You get to walk into that world, so it's really great. And we'll have like music games like Be Saber and other type of music games, and also some other really cool creative style of the virtual reality games. So and we just bought the newest game called Half-Life Alyx in virtual reality. So I heard that there is like you can play piano in it, like really cool. But we didn't have the gloves, so we'll probably behave like idiots, like using the controller to press the keyboard or something like that. But if you look at the videos, if you have the glove, like sensor glove, you're able to play the virtual reality piano in it just like real piano. So it's really cool. So we have a bunch of contents for you. So next week we're going to do this. And I'm still thinking about the take-home activity. So after next week, you're going to, just post some of your reflection of what you played for next week, and then post on the forum. So it'll be casual, like 300 to 500 words, and use the content that we discussed today and to analyze your play experience next week. So it'll be easy. 300 to 500 words is not that much, and it's very casual. So that'll be our first, take home activity or take home, not exam, but activity. So homework for next week, because next week you don't need to prepare anything. You don't need to watch videos. You don't need to read journal articles. You just need to play games. But so it will be fun. So if you can observe other people, and it's a very unique experience to play with your professor and also your classmates, and you kind of like perform in front of everybody. And we also have VR, social VR, which is called like Rec Room or something. So you'll be able to virtually social networking with other people globally. So it will be very fun because you get to physically, get close to others and hug or fist pump, and you get to play lots of really cool games. So that will be very interesting application. And we have a second week. We are going to visit the lab, and that week we're going to introduce like marketing, advertising, movie trailers, and different other applications like tourism and virtual reality tourism magazines. So many different applications for you to experience. So next week, the first week of the lab is about games. The second week is about all different industrial applications. So that will be fun. Are you excited? A little bit. You look like whatever. Why? Should be fun, right? Like last week you guys are excited, so this week should be excited too. So yeah, we've already talked about this. Okay, so now it's not the group time, but I just want to let you know that we probably have like 16 students. Like ideally, if those people, like if Louise, Ling Yi, and Huang Chen, if you guys come back to the class. Huang Chen, are you going to come back to the class after your quarantine? I don't know whether you're online. Is it recording right now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Are you sure? Oh, okay. I just want to make sure. Should I? Yeah, I just want to
Make sure.
Yeah, it's recording. Is it somebody? Are there people online? Yeah, like they're online, but they're busy.
Yeah, they're online.
It's like
They didn't open their microphone,
yeah,
so maybe.
not actually online. Yeah. Okay. So we're recording. Okay, cool. So think of breaking the group later, like in the third period of the time, like of the class, and probably 3 to 4 people, 4 students in one group. Remember in the syllabus we talked about that you'll sign up for 1 week, and then you will, find the latest research regarding the topic of that week, and also find the latest industrial application or news regarding that week and introduce to us. So it'll be simple and fun. Okay, so we'll do that later, and you get to know your classmates during the breaks, and hopefully find your ideal group mates at that time. Okay, so TED Talk. How many of you have spent your precious 20 minutes watching TED Talk? Yep. Well, so Noah, you also look at the TED Talk? Oh, because you saw the syllabus?
Oh wait, TED Talk for this class. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
General
not the general TED Talks. Okay. I was like, wow, you just joined it and you can foresee what we're going to. Awesome. It's like, when did I? Yeah, cool. Thank you. But if you can watch it later, it's called what? What is it called? Gaming Can Makes a Better World by James McGonigal. So, any thoughts about the? Gaming can make a better world. Do you agree with her, or do you not agree, or sort of agree, or any thoughts? Okay,
I agree in the sense that, I understand like what she's trying to say. The components and like the brain power that goes into what people are doing in World of Warcraft is ridiculous.
Like so many hours devoted to that world.
It's the problem is pulling them out of that world in order to create what they're doing in that world to like a reality.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I see what she's trying to say. I don't fully agree.
Yeah.
Because I think that I think she makes a good point, but I don't think that execution works necessarily.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe she's just talking about what if when they're solving the virtual problems in World of Warcraft, they can actually do something like good to the world, as at the same time. Maybe that's her ideal world of gaming. Like, for example, imagine in the future when they're solving the virtual problem in World of Warcraft, they can also generate electricity for the world. I'm just daydreaming, but
yeah. I mean, there was a tweet. I don't know if this is real or not, but there was a kid who played Assassin's Creed for so many hours that they got lost. He went on a class trip with his classmates to Italy.
Yeah.
And he could navigate through the streets because of how much he played.
Oh my gosh!
So
really?
I see it in that regard.
But that's like personal skill, not but for he's like personal skill and navigation to the real world.
Right.
Yeah. So, but I think she proposed this idea like a long time ago, like 13 or 14 years ago.
Right.
So that's just really ideal. TED Talks always like stimulating thoughts and stimulate mind blowing thoughts. So, but at some point, maybe some game design can afford people when they're solving the problem, like the game that I introduced to you last week, like Folded, about the protein you folded in different times. You're actually solving the virtual problem, but you also contribute the protein structure to the library of scientists and also doctors, so you get to know that. But the execution is really hard. Like, remember did I talk about serious games? Like, serious games is talk about education and you play while you learn things from the game, and it's just not fun at all. So entertainment should be pure fun for most people's imagination. You play it because it's fun, so it's appealing to you. But when it's all about education, do you still have fun in serious games? So I think James McGonigal is trying to find a balance between making something good or make something practical or useful. But it all goes back to the definition of entertainment. So we're going to talk about the definition of entertainment later. But it's a great point. So she's trying to say gaming, she wants to find something good about gaming and to make it practical in the real world. So that's her point, and you had doubts of how that we're going to do that.
I think for like older people, even I'm sorry, everyone.
No.
I think even for like older people, like even showing them like people who aren't already in games where we are problem solving and we're doing these things.
Yeah.
But for a person who has never like ever opened like a browser to RuneScape or something, this is what I'm saying, so just having a basis of something for them to understand that your kids aren't just sitting around wasting time.
Okay. Yeah. So there's still some people who have those kind of stereotypes in. So okay, so that's her point, and you a little bit like disagree with her how to do that practically. And Sebastian, you wanted to add something?
No. Well, I do agree with the idea of this like very powerful idea of blissful productivity, and when we're putting like
blissful, like
yeah. like
at that moment that.
not just the fact that like entertainment comes first, but also like the fact that you get encouraged to just take things on at a moment's notice. I think that's very powerful. I think the examples that she used, like of the games that she created, as great as they are, I think they're not the most like efficient or entertaining games. Like, one of them you have to blog to progress in the game, which just feels like very labor intensive to play a game.
Yeah, it's very demanding, and then it kind of like put people off. Yeah.
But it's still a decade ago, and I think there's already starting to be some overlap.
Yeah.
In terms of games that are more productive. So I think even like 4 years after that talk, or no, it was 5 years before. Anyway, like brain training would be one of the earliest examples. But now we have things like Duolingo, which I think you can count as a game rather than just an educational tool because of its setup. But it also like actively works towards translation at the same time on translation. So it's like that's an example of like how you can like up the usage of a game, which is purely for entertainment, but then you derive a lot of positive benefits from it.
Yeah, so I guess you mentioned about the driving factor in games that can really encourage people to produce a lot of things, and while they are very motivated to do this. So gaming has this magical power to make people are willing to spend money in just be entertained, or when they do something they feel meaningful when they do something. So that's something to think about. Yeah, other thoughts. It's a while. I remember she has another talk after this talk, but I didn't check out because I seldom watch TED Talk because it's just not my type. But I love the idea of urgent optimism. It's like the driving force of you to continually do that. And gaming has this really interesting structure that they make a long, like a period of time of thing. They give you like breaking points and give you goals, mini goals. So you get to enjoy through a long time of things. For example, if you are going to go to high school, you need to prepare for 3 years in order to take the exam, the national exam to go to high school, right? I'm not sure about in your country. Do you take SAT when you go to college, right? Yeah, so that's basically the same. In Taiwan, you prepare 3 years in high school in order to go to college, right? Right? Still the same? No? Because you're in another program like 繁星推荐, whatever. No, you didn't prepare 3 years. Oh, you prepare 1 year. Half a year. Okay, great. Okay, but you still need to get through that 3 years. That's what I mean. The point is you need to get through 3 years is a long time, but gaming can make it like interesting and give you feedback along the way, not just one time big feedback after 3 years. So and after this talk, a lot of has happened. For example, like blissful productivity. I remember I practiced my English typing using a game. I learned my English typing through the gaming. So there's a fish, and in order to make the fish to go to swim to the goal, you need to type. If you type faster, the fish will reach the goal like earlier. So that's giving me the power to really learn that very fast, and it's a motivation is very great. And there's also, she mentioned about social fabric. So how many of you love to social with others when you are playing games? Yeah, me either. But I play Clash Royale, so there is always social. Yeah, I always emote spamming. Did you know emote spamming? Emote like emoji, and you spam others with the emojis. Like when you win the game and then you spam them with like victory to make fun of them or something like that. So yeah, it's a fun part of the game. Yeah. Okay, other thoughts? Yeah.
I feel like because she posed this question of like, why can't we have like these 4 things in our everyday lives that would make things so much better? And this isn't like a profound thought or anything, but I think a lot of it has to do with just like human anxiety.
Oh,
And because
okay.
it's like dual, right? Because you have like the fear of failure that exists more of like real world consequences that doesn't exist in games. You can die over and over again. You can fail. Sometimes you can fail.
Trial and error.
Yeah, and so it's like also the feeling of just like being judged maybe stronger when weaving a social fabric in real life than like in an online world. And so I think she kept saying, I was like, this can't really happen because one, the practicality, like a lot of us just, many people who play games a lot just consider themselves kind of like cogs in this like machine of, you know, they go to work, they come back, they play a game, right? So we don't consider ourselves like important enough or in a place to like actually make real world change as we do online, and then also the anxiety that comes with making these decisions.
Okay, but but some of them, well, lots of them, probably will, to maintain their life, so to get their ordinary mundane life going on, so they work and then they play, so entertainment or not entertainment, mandatory, not mandatory, so, but people, maybe they recover from them, and maybe gaming can make something better with their mental health or something like that. So we're going to talk about all of them today. So so I think she mentioned about the motivation, like it's intrinsic motivation. So gaming is different from other media. So it's intrinsic. You get pulled by playing games automatically. So we're going to talk about intrinsic motivation today. Like what are the intrinsic motivations in games that can satisfy our needs for this needs satisfaction. And also games can make us learn things and actually can train our ability to solve problems or to think differently. So it's just lots of people really didn't notice that. Like when you're playing game, you never analyze your gaming experience and you never like reflect on your gaming experience. Lots of people view it as a pure entertainment. So they never look back and see what they have learned from the game. So if I ask you what kind of things you have learned from the game, can you think of anything? Not just pure learning that we imagine. It's more like, can you observe any of your skills, like increased or any other knowledge or your navigation skill or anything that you haven't noticed yet?
Are we talking about real world skills or just within the
Anything.
Oh, okay.
Well, in the game, you can maybe it can be applied to the real world, right?
Maybe.
Maybe. I guess most of them can be applied or transferred to the world. Can they? Yeah.
I'm a big point and click gamer, so I will find myself testing everything.
Like what, for example?
For example, like if something breaks in my house, I'll try to everything I have to make it work or make something
or change your tires.
Exactly.
Not really changing
but
tires.
it's because it's a 1-in-1.
Oh, okay.
And so I find myself doing that a lot.
Oh, okay. So in games you also do that?
Yes, with a point and click game, it's like you go, okay, this doesn't work, let's try this one.
Oh, okay.
This one and then this one, and then it works, and then you solve a problem.
Oh, cool. So you kind of also transfer that.
Yes.
That's very cool. Yeah, and you notice that. Yeah. Any other examples, Eva?
I thought social skills or living skills.
Oh, cool. How?
I'm not really a big gamer, but I like to play Overcooked.
It's actually challenging for a lot of people because you get to work with others. You can coordinate coordinate through the controller and also coordinate with other people, right?
Yeah, and
do you like it? Do you like the experience?
I like it a lot, and you need to have the mindset, or you really need to have the sense to cook or something like that to really collaborate with other members. Yeah, or
you need to execute your gaming behavior while coordinating and communicate with your teammates.
Yeah.
Like for example, when you're chopping the tomato, you have to like Grace, go take out that pot and it's boiling up or something like that, or take out that fish or something like that. So it's a very, very fun game. Like lots of master students here, they will have a party and then play Overcooked for all night long, and they have fun, and it's a really great party game. How many of you know Overcooked? Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. So do you want to add some? Thank you, Eva. So that's a social skill, right? And do you want to say something? The only, the only English top program student left, Jia-Yu.
Probably patience.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What kind of game? Like, well,
Overcooked.
Overcooked you patience.
Like, it's hard for me to communicate with.
Novices,
And yeah, like sometimes it's just urgent. You can't communicate, and you have to,
Pay
hear
attention.
people's, like
do you yell at them?
I always yell at them.
Oh,
And
okay.
like Super Mario,
Mhm.
you have to die and play it again and
Oh.
until you make it. So probably patience.
Okay, so have you achieved any of the game before? Yeah.
Yeah.
With the patience.
Yeah.
Does that transfer to real world?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Like at least you have more endurance to others and different type of teammates or groupmates.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Jia-Yu. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I guess for me, when I'm gaming, one of the things I notice is like what comes between like what you want to do and like being able to do that in the game. So like for me, like one of the first things I'm gonna notice when I pick up a game is like what the control method is, and like how they choose like the button scheme. Like, oh, it doesn't make sense for this to be on like a trigger button. It should be on like a base button, or it should be on a stick or something like that.
Yeah.
So like that can sort of, it's like a design choice that can sort of like frustrate you or like contribute to, I guess, like harmonious play. And then you bridge from like the physical level to like into the game. There's like the user interface. So especially if you go back and play like a historic game or an older game, you'll be like, oh, the menus are so bad and like, everything's so unresponsive. But it might be if you look at some newer games like Persona 5 or Sea of Thieves or something, like their integrity or integration of the menu into what you're actually trying to accomplish, or their sort of lack of the UI at all.
So you're really into the UI, the interface, and also the natural mapping, like the mapping of the design.
Yeah.
Like if that frustrates you, you will block that in the first place. You'll really examine whether the design and interface can produce a flow experience for you, like to let you really enjoy your experience.
Yeah, I guess that's how it applies to the game itself, but then anything you're trying to make from like a, from one of your class papers to a home project you might be working on, it just sort of boils down to usability. Like, are the design choices that I'm making in this going to bring in the user, or is it going to be something that repels them? Like, I can't get into this paper. The preamble's too long.
Okay, great. You haven't checked out the papers yet, right? No, I'm just kidding. Well, do read the papers. Okay, so that's a good example as well. So you check that, but do you learn anything from the games, or if you notice that? No, it's okay. Yeah, thank you, Noah. Yeah.
I used to play a game named Dark World.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's called
Monopoly.
Monopoly. Yes.
And when you go to a new building, you can buy this building. And,
property.
Somebody across this should pay money for you. And the game has a stock system.
Yes.
Yeah, you can buy stock. And the one.
Oh, really? Stock?
Stock is low. You just buy, and the stock is high. You just sell.
So you're a fortunate. You're a monopoly in the real world right now. Did you buy a lot of stock?
No,
in March.
I just think stock in this game is very simple, but in real life it's very complicated.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So
Okay.
it's very interesting.
I thought you were going to say so. I got $1 million after this COVID-19 crash in the stock market. Okay. Well, but yeah, you can learn the system of economy and the simple way of real estate, and to see the how if you become the monopoly, how you like you can buy all the firms and you can buy all and to create your company, just like Google or Microsoft or Facebook and Amazon. These are the four monopolies in the real world. They have been summoned to the Congress in the United States. Do you guys know that? And they're like, we're not the biggest one. We're just some companies. So it's really funny. But when they purchase other companies, they're like, you have to join our system, otherwise I'll kill your app or something like that. So that's how Facebook, Instagram. So, but when they're in Congress, they're like, we're just some tech company. We're not the monopoly. Okay, so if we look at the real case here, a lot of games have been designed and happened in the past decade. This one is called Trip Planet. If you're interested in it, you're welcome to play it and download it. It's a mobile game. Trip Planet. Yeah, there's 1 and 2. I think yes, it's there. Yes, I'm sorry, it's embedded in the Chinese character. So their purpose is to attract you to play the games. When you play the game, it's actually not that easy. It's a little bit hard to pass all the level. But if you they have different, like areas. For example, they if it's in China, they would talk about, oh, there's some water issues and in Mongolia, yes. So they have a problem of the sand. There's too much sand, and the sheep will eat all the grasses. So it's really hard to maintain the trees. Yeah. So they create this problem of water and the ecosystem. So they would design the game level so your enemies will be sheep and rocks and sand, and you need to like plant trees to defeat them and to defend your trees, something like that. And if you get to pass a level, like all the levels in this area, for example, in China, then they will plant a tree for you in that area. So you get to, if you pass the levels, you get to have a real tree named after you, and they will plant for you. And I like to try that, but I couldn't pass the level, and it was not fun for me, so I quit. So, but if you have space in your phone, you're welcome to download and play it, and let me know if you pass all the levels. So challenge accepted for you, not for me. And so you probably will be curious, how is the company making money, right? I mean, why do they want to create this? Well, yeah, ads like sponsors. Yeah, sponsors. Like they get the ads from the sponsor from different other companies. For example, every company, they have budget to spend so that they can, it can deduct from their annual tax. So they have the budget for social costs. So some companies will buy some really environmental friendly products so that those budget can be spent here. So they will donate the money to plant the trees. So the gaming designers or the gaming company, they don't have to pay for the trees. So they will have free trees to plant, but they get to collect money, and also the players will be willing to play the game because there's a social cost layer for them. In addition to play the game, they actually plant trees in the real world. Does that sound appealing to you, this game? May you like to try? I will ask Jia-Yu, would you like to try this game?
No.
Yeah, because you're not patient? No, I'm just kidding. No, why not? Doesn't look fun to you?
Yeah, I'm not an
Don't you want to
environmental-
plant trees? I'm
No,
sorry.
Not really. Not challenging.
Oh, not challenging for you?
Yeah.
It's actually pretty difficult. I couldn't pass it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, doesn't matter. Well, it's a Korean game, I think. So they would talk about not enough trees in Korea, in Seoul, and also different other areas like this. You know, they pointed out different problems in the real world. So in Thailand and also in South Sudan, and so you get to know real world problems there. So I think it's pretty educational. It's pretty beneficial. But you know, all of these kind of games have this kind of problem. Is it entertaining enough? Is it appealing enough for you? Well, some people might play this and then share it on Facebook. It's like, I passed it all. I get to plant a tree. That's meaningful. But I'm not sure whether it's motivational for you to keep playing. Yeah, so it's a really important issue that we need to think about, or we can need to design. If you can think of any way to make serious games really fun, you get full points from this course because that's a big contribution to the whole world. Okay, cool. So let's talk about a little bit about gaming research. I'm going to briefly talk about this, so to save you from reading really boring journal articles. I saw you printing out all the journal articles. Are they boring? Yeah, a little bit, right?
Some of them are interesting.
Some of them, some portions of them. Okay, these are pretty like general introductions, but I'm going to talk about several papers today, so you don't need to read them. Yay! But yeah, it's all in my course. I'm going to let you know that. Well, in last year, all the papers you guys have to read it, and you have to come here to lead the course. So in previous years it's very hardcore, but this is different. So if you are interested in looking at the gaming research in the field of communication, it's actually an emerging field in communication. So wow, this way I don't know. Okay. So there are flagships journals in communication. So flagship means they're really top journals in the field of communication. So if you want to look at good papers, you always go to those journals. There's so many different journals right now. So do not think all the journal articles are good. Some of them are really bad. So they are bad journals. So we need to train our skill to differentiate what is good contribution, what is good paper, what good journal. And good journals usually have really good theoretical arguments. So for example, Journal of Communication is one of the top communication journal, and also Human Communication Research and Communication Research. These are the three top journals. There's another one called Journal of Computer Mediated Communication that I didn't list it here. That's the fourth. That's also another top journal. So if you're interested in finding research, JCMC Journal of Computer Mediated Communication doesn't have lots of gaming research, but they do have some virtual reality and also digital game papers there. And also Media Psychology is a top paper, top journal from the field of media psychology. So it's really related to all of the ideas that we talk about in this course. They talk about all the psychological perspective, the situation and the process of audiences using media. So these are really good journals. And New Media Society, they usually accept journals from usually accept topics from really new ideas. So if you have a topic about like robotic, you probably will be able to get in that journal. And so they have pretty good articles, but sometimes they have so-so articles. It's like, why does this get into that journal? Because the editor is very subjective. So the editor would reject papers that he doesn't like, and he would take in the papers that he likes. So it's like this. But New Media Society also have some really good gaming papers. Computers and Human Behavior is another journal that you will come across very often. Computers and Human Behavior, they involve lots of topics, and some of them are really good and some of them are super bad. So that's the journal that you have to pay attention to. So if you look at that, you always going to look at the paper itself. Sometimes it does not have good paper in it, but most of them have really high impact and very influential papers. Journal of Media Psychology is another journal that's emerging recently. So these people are, most of them are gaming researchers. They're like all becoming editorial board members and social editors and editors. So they all go into that journal and make it really hard to submit and being accepted journal. So it's a really good journal, Journal of Media Psychology, and they have really good standard, high standard of articles. And so there are different key issues in gaming research, like in early times, people think about uses and gratifications. For example, why do you play games? So they study why do you play games, and they list different reasons. And also recently, it's evolving into intrinsic motivation. So we're going to talk about that. And also we talk about underlying mechanism. What does that mean? It means there's a cause, like playing games. There are different factors in it. Like for example, you play action like exercise game versus not exercise game, and there's an outcome. For example, if it's exercise or not, the outcome should be whether you love to exercise, like whether you're motivated by the exercising game, so you exercise more in the real world. So underlying mechanism means what's the middle ground that explains such cause and outcomes. So if I play this exercise game, oh, I exercise more in the real world, but why? Is it because the more self-efficacy, or is it because my body get used to this kind of movement, so I naturally, transfer this to real world? So that's an underlying mechanism, and that's very important for gaming research. We not only pay attention to all different kinds of effects and outcomes from playing such and such games, we are more paying attention to why it occurs. So we will examine and design the experiments and get to know what's happening in between. So for example, the one underlying mechanism that I studied for a long time is called character identification. That one can really expand lots of effects afterwards. For example, you play the character this like this, and you, because of the higher character application, then you behave like this for the outcome. So there are different underlying mechanisms. So I think Nick and I will talk about them a lot. For example, presence is the underlying mechanism for virtual reality and your behavior. Protease effect is also an underlying mechanism between virtual reality and your behavior. So that's underlying mechanism. So there are different topics for gaming research, and throughout the whole semester we'll get to different topics. Okay, so we're about to have a break, but before the break, I'd like to ask you, what is entertainment for you? If you can think of that, if you want to define, what is the core thing that would distinguish entertainment from itself, from others? Of itself from others. What is entertainment to you? Wow, it's philosophical. Yeah. Today is philosophical. I'm sorry. Gaming can be philosophical.
I think it's about goals.
Goals?
Whether it's a means to something or just an end in itself.
Yeah.
Like I think there's a little bit of gray around that.
Yes.
Some things which
like working
count as productivity, but they're also kind of entertaining, and so it's a mix. But I'd say to be as broad as possible. That's what it is.
Goals. Goal is a very, very important element for gaming or for entertainment. Like you get entertainment because you have a goal. For example, you want to relax, you want to, and if there is a goal and then if you reach it, you feel entertained. Yeah, but does that distinguish entertainment from work? I mean, there's a goal for work.
I think there is, or
but you
not necessarily. It's like in that paper where he's talking about goals and conflict being two sides of the same coin.
Oh,
basically.
okay.
So in the same way, it could be a goal or the fear of a negative consequence. Like you're working, you might be working half the time because you're like, oh, I have to get this done today.
Yeah.
So you're doing it. That doesn't. You might not have like a personal goal within the work that you're doing. It might just be kind of a clerk thing that you're just doing in the office.
Okay.
But you're not doing it because you want to do it, like this actual task.
So So you said that kind of goal is not entertaining, but certain types of goal is entertainment.
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean,
that's
to
a
go,
very,
to go,
yeah,
to go back to like Duolingo.
Duolingo,
Yeah.
yes.
So if I mean everybody knows what Duolingo is, right?
It's a translation thing.
yeah,
Oh, well, it's
a
a
language
learning,
app,
learning.
kind of like Rosetta Stone-ish,
Mhm.
where you like build sentences and you learn a language basically through like mini games. Basically, it's very kind of like textbooky. It's not there's not too many images, but I think the way that they present a lot of the exercises is quite game-like.
Yeah,
Like
gamification.
there's like a cute little bird and you get points and stuff. So
Not cute.
yeah.
Debatable.
Oh, I think the owl is adorable. Anyway.
Adorable.
Yeah, he walks around and stuff. Anyway, I think like obviously a lot of people I think go into that thinking, oh, I want to learn this language, and it seems like a fun way of doing it. But that's the thing. They say they think this looks like a fun way of doing it. So they're kind of balancing that out.
Yeah.
Whereas compare that to like I don't know, like making a presentation for this class. Even if you like going to this class, you're still trying to achieve something. And I think the fact that you're trying to achieve it is more than entertainment value. So therefore it's not a game. Or it's not entertainment. So.
Entertainment.
Yeah.
So you think goal can distinguish that?
Yeah.
So yeah, but I can see there's still overlapping ground. But goal is a very essential element for gaming. Yeah, you put a goal there, it's gamification, and there are always goals in the games, right? So that's a very important element that you mentioned for digital games and also for entertainment, because but that's a good point. Any other things or
I'm gonna
thoughts?
take you through a ride on my brain.
Yeah.
So, I think back to like when we talk about like cavemen era. Like very long ago, there are things that we need to do that we need to survive.
Yeah. Food,
water. Don't touch that plant because it's poisonous.
And heat.
Exactly. So like that basic instinct of survival was to begin with.
Yeah.
And then once we passed those hurdles of like survival, we made it to a place where we're bored. What do we do as a solution to boredom?
Yeah.
So it's like there is like a meeting point, I guess, after that point of survival, where now we run into things that we need in order to keep our brains engaged.
Oh, cool. I love that perspective. It's actually one of the anthropological and the evolving 进化 evolving perspective to argue that why people need games to train their survival instincts. So they say, for example, guys need to, like in ancient times, guys, male people have powerful muscles. They need to wrestle with the lion or whatever. So right now they're evolving into all using computers, like not just male and female as well. So, but male need to train their instinct or something. So they love to play first-person shooter or something. Well, that's one type. But I love your how we need games or something to keep up that instincts. Okay, so that's one of the perspective. But what is the core element that distinguish entertainment from non-entertainment? That's the thing. You both mentioned really great perspective. One is goal is important for games, and that something is from boredom, that I totally agree. And it's actually from the textbook as well. But what is the core element that distinguish entertainment from others? Let's think about it, sit on it, and then we'll come back in 10 minutes after the break. And I'll give you the definition. We'll talk about the very important aspects in entertainment and also gaming research. Okay, we'll come back in 10 minutes, and you're welcome to find your group mates or something like that. One group for 4 people. You can think about that. We'll do the group breaking and in the 3rd period of the class. Okay, I'll see you later.
If you didn't hand in a consent form back, you can give it to me now. Or if you didn't have it, I have some blanks
Oh, the consent form.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did other people gave it back to you, right? Okay.
And also, if you haven't been added to the FB group, you can also find me or your classmates.
Oh, there's a Facebook group that we hope we didn't post much there, but we're
Yeah,
going to
but
post
it's
more
like-
there.
今天的录影好像没有录到头像，刚刚就是有按掉一个，
头像
对，就是上周不是老师有一个小小在这里，有那个比较好，我来找找看。
现在有在录影吗？
有，我们现在还是继续在录，就是它会一直录下去。
对。
我来看看可不可以显示背景效。
What do you need? Oh, consent
Here.
form.
I didn't even know that. Well, I had a like a class, like a job that I had to do on the same day. I already had 2 questions.
好像刚刚我们一开始录的时候，就是它最右边有一个小小的格子，那个应该不要按掉，它就会留那个。
了解。下次你弄。
好
就比较。
OK， 我下次会再找。
所以令仪没有。
令仪今天没有加入我们。我先要，所以伟鹏不会上课
哈？
伟鹏就没有上课。
对他不用。
OK， 就不用要求。OK。
Just to be upfront, in like our middle States.
Yeah. I don't know if you're like a basketball fan. Indiana Pacers. That's all me and
Okay.
Sorry, I mean like.
Yeah.
哦，我们有 CC 字幕可以。
I don't follow NBA myself, so I don't know who's on there anymore because like the last time I followed NBA was like 20 years ago. So. Yeah.
It's okay.
Oh, Professor. This Game of Thrones, Alone in the Dark is on sale on Steam if you're interested.
I really like the first generation. Oh, awesome. I think I had it in one of the old computers that I don't have anymore. Well, yeah, on sale, so it probably is like $3 American or something like that. Awesome.
I think it's like 200 something.
Oh, okay. Did you download it? No.
I can't because I don't have a PC.
Oh, okay. You
Yeah.
can run PC from your Mac.
I can't run. Otherwise, I would.
Well, no, actually, it's a
看他什么时候要你确定。
Mac game. Originally, I played it from my Mac. When I was a kid, my dad has a Macintosh, like not a PC, like PC.
那你要先决定，你要不要提早毕业？
But I'm not sure whether it's a Mac or PC version from the Steam version. Oh, I'm excited. Nostalgia.
对，
重点是3万块。
对，
On my Steam.
没错。
After you mentioned it, I was like, I've never heard of it before. I'll take a look.
你比较想要哪一个啊？
My favorite game.
What?
So you can look at
I'm sorry?
Monkey Island.
No, I don't know.
It's similar
Oh.
game mechanics.
你是要去韩国？
So it related it.
Oh,
So I was
wow.
like, oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. But did you guys check out NetHack?
对，我正在。对不起，我也想要，但我要先把这个，没，我在想办法找出那个小框框，可是好像
重录就好了，反正56的你先。
那个就是何前我们有确定说他会检查影片时长，所以我们要3个小时，不可以按掉。
是哦，
嗯。
可是不是说两节课连续上是90分钟，中间有10分钟下课也 OK 啊。
我也不确定，但我那时候问何前的时候，他跟我说他会检查。
我们现在还在录影，我们不要。
哦，对，没事。
你不要讲。
这里有出现，他可能我想想 ，Hello。 他可能想要了解大家下课的讨论状况，我们还在讨论哦。
但我有问哦，那个如果是 Nick Bowman 的话，他就不用3个小时这么长，他不用180分钟，他其实150分钟够。因为我问他说
上厕所
不是10分钟要下课什么，他说对，而且他说连续上的话90分钟就算2节课
OK，
就是连续上的话就等于100分钟可以变90，
就是变成90分。
对，然后90分钟就加50分钟，所以140还都
OK。
平台是不是很难用？
平台
哦，你们还没用？
现在还上面还没有
哦，他还要手动把他们汇进去。
而且我昨天汇入新的学生，他汇不成功，就我会再问问看平台为什么我没办法加他进去，就为他学好。
是学校那个平台吗？
对。然后老师，我把那个不要，我好想上厕所啊！
对，我要去，我也是。
赶快先去，等一下还要继续。佳瑜。
I don't know. Yeah, I like the exercise. Yes, yeah. But the thing is like, yeah, he's mostly charismatic. But if it is really like vocational, then it's gonna be more about the practice and the exercise.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very counterintuitive not to take that class. But yeah, it's like of all of the best, I was gonna ask one to get coffee. It'd be at the bottom of the list.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Imagine how I'm calling Paul. I'm not calling Ralph.
You calling Ralphie?
Found his LinkedIn though, that was fun. He's real active on LinkedIn.
See, and there's that stuff. I mean, but you didn't want to work in journalism, right?
That was actually my thoughts because I was like, my training literally is international journalism is like my background. And so I'm like, I want to go back to that and be a good asset for like engineering contacts as well as my diversity out and but I don't really want to. But I'm saying if something drastically changes,
Yeah. But there's like, I think it's a lot of pressure. Like, not hard, like, it's not necessarily hard. It's journalism.
But yeah, that communication is spots.
Really?
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't.
Because journalism, like, that was the first 2 years.
Was it good? I couldn't go to that.
I mean, yeah. It's fine. Just
Yeah.
I don't know what the road I feel. It will be.
Having to give over a class that I want to do for a middle of the road teacher.
It's like research methods, so we're gonna pair up and like find out.
Yeah, I think that's going to be that. I mean, I'm keen to do that class. It's like, I'm so much more humanities. And then being something like the last 2 years, where I'm like, I'm in business and like study any of this.
Right.
Just kind of like winging it based on what
If
everything else is saying.
it works, it works.
Grace, sorry, I didn't mean to start.
Yeah.
If you want to get more for gaming out of your Mac, have you tried installing dual operating systems on it?
Oh, here's the thing, Noah. I know I'm in the market to buy a new Mac, so I don't want to invest more than I already have on my Mac.
Don't buy a new Mac right now, though.
Yes, of course. Like I'm in the market to enter, but not now.
Yeah. Because all the Macs that are coming out this year are obsolete before they come out because Mac is switching from Intel processors to ARM processors. So they're just like not going to be supported in the future.
Excellent. I mean, call me loud. She held out.
have the syllabus?
I do not. Sorry.
Sorry, we're having conversations about it. Yeah, I got it.
You didn't read the syllabus, or did you read the syllabus online?
I just added the class without having. I added the class. Some other people dropped, and I moved up the wait list to see it. Yeah.
Okay. How come you could enroll in it and I couldn't?
Couldn't enroll in it?
I physically couldn't enroll in it. I had to get a signature in order to.
That's how ours works.
Oh, whatever.
I had to get a signature to add in all of the classes from our own department, but not from other departments. Yeah.
That is so funny. And then you got moved up to the list, and you're here, and then Grace has to
I'm
come
still
here.
waiting to be put on the list. I literally had to like.
She's not on
my
the
way
list
on.
yet. I mean, at this moment. And Grace has come here twice already.
It's fine.
It's so funny.
All is well.
I'm gonna get it to you right now.
Okay, thank you.
So Noah, for your information, it's a hybrid online class. We're going to meet physically, but for their 6 weeks, we're going to meet online. Like, there's another professor from Texas.
Yeah, I met him.
Oh, Nick Bowen?
Huang Chen, you didn't give me your consent form.
Oh, cool. You're a Fulbright student, and he's a Fulbright scholar.
Yeah,
Can't
he
hear
So-
you right
here
now.
last year before he returned home.
Yeah. So he's going to teach 6 weeks, and he will upload his videos on the platform. So you'll be able to get to watch his videos. So there will be 6 weeks, and then we're going to post some discussions and reflections for that, for those 6 weeks.
Yeah, okay, great.
And the other weeks we meet here.
Okay.
So that's why you need a syllabus. Otherwise, you don't know which week we're going to meet online, which week we meet offline. Okay, so any thoughts after 10 minutes of your meaningful life? Any core concepts that define entertainment from other experiences or non-entertainment? What is so important? What is entertainment from non-entertainment?
I don't know if this is the same thing that Grace said, but I always think of like escapism.
Oh, escapism.
Like, yeah, I mean, like everything you go see in, like you do that in real life too. Go to see a movie or go out to a bar with friends, like you're escaping.
Yeah. Like real life entertainment. Entertainment can be real life and
Yeah.
also digital. So
That's what I thought.
So escapism is more like it provides an opportunity for you to escape from your ordinary mundane work life. Okay, I love that. Any other thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, I think subjectivity is a big issue with
Subjectivity.
It's like I was in the Army for a long time, and one of the things is they had simulation programs that were used there. So like some of those were used for like training purposes, but like if you're living that life every day, like that's like a slog to you.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing the same thing in the game, but then people will pay like big money for Full Spectrum Warrior or Arma 3 or one of these like military simulation games.
So
that they
not America's Army. No.
well,
Not simulation enough.
Yeah, America's Army, the older versions were like VR, but America's Army as well, those games, it's just like, I guess for some people, they can like live out that like military fantasy that they had of like being like a war hero or whatever without like actually risking like getting shot at or getting hazed or something like
Okay. Yeah, so subjectivity from your definition, you feel like it's entertainment for you, then it's entertainment. If it's not, for example, you can play games, but it's more like work for you, then it's not entertainment for you.
Yeah, because you can be like too close to and that's why like something like The Sims, you know, it's you want to have your sim like learning piano, but not actually like sit down and practice piano. For,
Uh-huh.
like 5 hours.
Okay. Okay, so that's a great point. Just like from esports, those people they make the living from playing games. For that, for them, maybe digital gaming is not entertainment to them. Maybe not playing game is entertainment for them. So subjectivity. Okay, if we move forward further, we can say actually voluntary. Voluntary is the keyword that kind of like distinguish entertainment from any other type. So it's just like Noah said about like if you are playing this simulation game and get paid, but it feels like work for you, is actually not voluntary. Well, you can volunteer to do that in the beginning, but at the end it's not voluntary enough. And so and Grace also mentioned about that because of the boredom and you actually touch point of voluntary, right? Because you volunteer to play those games. It's out of boredom. So you think of things to do to get you out of boredom. So I would say voluntary activity is a very, very key concept in entertainment. So here they also see the definition is from 1955 Huizinga. So there's a different concept here. So it said it has to be executed within certain fixed limits of time and place. Does that still work right now? Does entertainment have to be executed with certain limits of time and place?
Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go, yeah, it's
So
like
no.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And time, actually, the digital world is perpetual, so you can join in every time, anytime that you want, right? So limits of time, maybe not.
In
And
fact, I think
limits of
there's even an emphasis on there not being limits of time because, like,
yeah.
you need to, well, just using Pokemon Go, you need to be in certain areas at certain times, which I don't think is what he means there. He means that it's independent of time. This is specifically time-based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's so it depends on how they design the game activities. So, yeah, so within the time or not within the time, any time that you can still catch that. Yeah, but it's different. And accompanied by a feeling of tension, joy, and consciousness that is different from ordinary life. So they said entertainment will give you something that's different from ordinary life. But right now, our ordinary life feels like entertainment as always, right? If I look at news or if I look at for me, entertainment is not purely just fun. It can be sadness or shocking or sadness. So for me, in real life, it's like more entertaining than entertainment. Do you think so? I don't know. Feels like 2020 is it's very different from ordinary life. 2020 is definitely not ordinary life for lots of people. So it's too philosophical, but it's just some reflection. But I'm going to talk about in entertainment. Scholars always think about what is entertainment. So in the beginning here, if you look at Huizinga's definition, it says feeling of tension, joy, and the consciousness that is different from ordinary. So tension and joy. So remember, here, what Huizinga pointed out is that joy is the outcome of entertainment, but it's more than that. So it's tension. So tension here can correspond to the academic concept of suspense. For example, horror movie or suspenseful movies like Tenet. Is that suspenseful? I don't know. I haven't been to the movie theater. I haven't had entertainment for a long time. I work during the weekend as well. But I'm here, not complaining. I'm recording. I'm sorry. But yeah. But so tension here. Huizinga has already touch point to the suspense here. Also, Huizinga talked about joy. Feeling of joy is the outcome of entertainment. So that's hedonic, right? Hedonic means enjoyment, that we feel like, happy. Like If we watch a movie, we feel happy. If we watch a YouTube video, we're happy. That's joy. But it's more than that. The scholars have already evolved from purely fun and suspenseful to more reflection of your life. So there are lots of movies that will make you cry, and then you feel like, why am I here crying all over my face? And then you feel like meaningful after the viewing experience. So that's called appreciation. So that's another route called eudaimonia or eudaimonic experience. It means that it's something that's meaningful to you, reflective experience. So let's talk. Okay, yeah. So it's pretty small here. Yeah. So what is entertainment? This slides, I've organized the evolvement of communication and entertainment literature and let you know how it was evolved. In the beginning, people feel like, oh, if it's entertainment, it should be fun and happy. So fun and happy is always the measurement of entertainment. So, and also it's intuitive. So you feel like, oh, entertainment is like roller coaster. It's fun and happy and intuitive. You feel like directly, oh, it's entertaining. And then in 2011, the scholars feel like, oh, it should be reflective. For example, if you break up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, then what kind of songs do you listen to?
Sad.
Do you listen to love songs like 下课10分钟? You guys don't know that song, right? I mean, I don't know how to translate that. It's a Chinese song, like called Break Time for 10 Minutes. And then, anyway, so why do you listen to sad songs if you break up with your partner?
It's therapeutic.
Oh, you guys are too young. I shouldn't have this example. You probably haven't experienced that. It's therapeutic. Why?
As my therapist once told me. It's like you go to the brink of the bottom of the hole that you can go.
Okay.
And then after you leave the bottom,
You can only
you have to be as sad as you possibly can be.
And then you bounce out.
You bounce
Okay.
out. Exactly.
Okay, that sounds sad. I'm sorry. But
It's fine.
well, actually, if we look at the intrinsic needs, sometimes if we hear the sad song, it actually accompany you. You feel like there's a friend who understands you, the lyrics. It's talking about your experience, talking about your stories, or maybe the lyrics is more painful than your breakup story. So you feel like it's your friend who also has a breakup, and then you feel accompanied, and that's social intrinsic needs that gets satisfied. But here, appreciation, it means that if you watch a really cruel and painful movie and you feel like you understand some parts of the world being like this, and then you feel like you will have two kinds of feeling. One is appreciative of your great life, and the second type is that, oh, I appreciate that I had the chance to experience this vicariously. Like, I don't need to go through this, but I get to understand what's going on in other parts of the world. And I'm glad that I had this experience, that I feel like my life has been expanded a little bit. And there's another new theory called temporally expanding yourself, like temporally expanding the boundary of your self boundary. So it's called T-bot. It means that people, for us, we try to look at different sitcoms or movies in order to expand our self boundary. As students, or like in army, your life is like in routine. So for students, you come to class, you go to some parties, and then you go to bed, right? You probably won't have the experience to dive under sea for like several hundred feet. I mean, for some people, but you probably don't have the experience. For example, in Taiwanese girls, we never have the experience to go to army, right? we don't need to go to army here in Taiwan for girls, right? Oh, but we can. Yes, we afford that options. So Sometimes for me, if I want to expand my self boundary, I watch lots of movies or sitcoms so that I can vicariously live through other people's eyes and other people's experiences. I get to, look at rich people's parties or get to look at how army looks like or different like a fantasy world so that I can expand my boundary. That's really helpful or healthy for our mental health because we sometimes, like you said, we need to escape and then come back. We feel like, oh, we're recovered and full of energy. So appreciation is like this. You don't need to watch some really joyful and happy content. You look at painful or different content and then you feel like you appreciate of this type of experience. That's in entertainment as well. That goes with the higher route called eudaimonic. So eudaimonic experience. So here, the very important development of entertainment theory now evolving from purely hedonic, and then we have appreciation, which is enjoyment and appreciation. Hedonic equals enjoyment, intuitive. And then here's a eudaimonic appreciation, and then it's like contemplative, complicated, and reflective. So there are two types of entertainment responses. One is ha 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 ha, it's funny, and then you feel happy, pure joy and happiness. And the other, you have to think about it, and then you really love that process. For me, I think I'm high in need for cognition. Need for cognition is a personality trait. It means that some people, they just love to think all the time, like me. So I feel tired all the time for my brain. But I love that kind of thinking challenge. So for me, suspenseful movie, I love those movies that require me thinking a lot and then, thinking over and over again, having different conclusions. Oh, that's challenging for me and very appealing to me. So if you are that type of person, you love to contemplate and you reflect on this process and then you feel appreciative. So that's part of eudaimonic experience as well. So lots of people scholars started to look through the literature and say, hey, I have a breakup story, and then I listen to sad songs and cry over it, and then I'm recovered because I got satisfied with some people. The lyrics is my friend getting me through this. And I look at a real cruel movie and I'm appreciative of this experience, like movies from the Japanese animation, Gong Qi-jun. Do you know his English name? I don't know how to. Miyazaki. Oh, Miyazaki. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're a great teaching assistant and a student. Thank you. So yeah, his movies sometimes always goes with the appreciation route, right? His movies never as fun or pure joy. So sometimes it's really sad. Like, yeah, you cry over it. Yeah, okay. So that's first. And the second one, I couldn't even look at my own PowerPoint. It's so small. Okay, second one is need satisfaction. It means it's from 2006. There's a scholar called Ryan and Deci. There are two scholars from psychology. They actually have this theory called self-determination theory for a long time ago. And then in 2006, they applied this theory into the field of digital games. They had 3 experiments and 1 survey. In that study, they talked about actually gaming is so appealing that people are willing to pay the game company in order to have that experience, is because digital games afford a lot of opportunities for you to satisfy your own intrinsic needs. So what are these 3 intrinsic needs? It means the first one is autonomy. So for example, students do not have autonomy a lot, right? You are required to come here at 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, like, right? Huang Chen, are you online? Right? I can't hear you.
我一直都在。
Oh, great. Thank you. Okay, so you're required to come here, so that's sabotaging your autonomy, right? A little bit. Remember when you're in high school, you're always there taking exams in Taiwan, not in the US, but taking exams, and that's not autonomy. So you're appealing to play games because in Sims, you get to make your classmates really funny and ask them to play really funny things. For example, my student create his roommates, put all his roommates into sinks and create a room without a toilet and see how his roommates react. They want to pee but no toilets, so they're like angry and trying to. So that's one of my students' work. So autonomous, you get to play the games through different. So a lot of people, if you want to satisfy your autonomy, you probably will play Minecraft or Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto series is very freestyle and sandbox style, so you get to run over somebody or really you can't stop at the red light if you want to, right? So that's a lot of opportunity. The second one is called competence. Let me show you the slides of this here, actually, so you can see better. So first one we talk about is autonomy. The second one is competence. Competence means that you feel competent doing this. For example, you beat somebody in Clash Royale, yeah, you win. So some people, if you really need competence, need satisfaction, do not play competitive gaming before you go to sleep. If you fail, you never go to sleep because you're like, oh, next. So we all have these experiences. If you play competitive gaming before you sleep, if you fail, you're like, I want to play again. If you play League of Legends, you'll never be able to sleep because it's like 30 minutes or over. So competence is very important for lots of people. In real life, we do not always have the opportunity to satisfy our competence needs, right? For example, if you get unlucky in the stock market this morning, you don't earn money from the stock market this morning. You don't feel competent. Or for high school students, you get to examine which college you get to or the SAT score. So it takes a long time. But games are here ready to play, and it can directly give you the opportunity to feel competent. You just be someone else. So it's a very attractive resources for lots of people. So that's why lots of people, they say, hey, gaming addiction. Sometimes they're just trying to seek their satisfaction of competence from the games because it's hard for them to acquire that kind of need satisfaction from real life. Real life doesn't give you lots of games to give you the competence, right? So this is second intrinsic motivation. The third one is called relatedness. We're already talking about very important gaming theoretical development right now. Relatedness means that social connections. Remember, Animal Crossing is so popular. It's already popular in like 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Lots of kids played that. But it's all over popular again. Because of the COVID-19 make it more popular. And lots of people, if they have the Nintendo Switch, especially in Taiwan, I've noticed a lot of people who do not play games or hardcore games in real life, they all are playing Animal Crossings and they're socializing with each other in Animal Crossing because it's becoming a social tool for them, so that they get to interact with other people when they are under quarantine or something. I'm not sure about other countries. Do you have any observations from your country? In the US? Animal Crossing is always popular. Yeah, it's always popular.
But it was really aptly timed. The New Horizons.
Okay, yeah, it's at the right time. Really right time. What about your countries? I don't know. Sebastian, you're from Europe, right?
I'm from the UK, yeah.
Yeah, UK, yes.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Not Europe anymore.
Well,
Brexit. Well, it's not EU, yeah, but still.
Well,
Europe.
I voted Remain, and I stick with that. So, I'm not so sure actually because
okay.
I don't really play Animal Crossing.
So I'm
not really involved with that.
Yeah,
but
so
I did
observe that.
Read something interesting about the effects of. I wanted to throw this in earlier about how Animal Crossing might be very beneficial for people with depression.
Oh.
Because not just because of the social fabric aspect of it, but also because it's a game that constantly positively reinforces you.
Yeah.
And characters kind of follow up with interactions.
Mhm.
I'm guessing because I haven't actually played it, but or not since the like DS. But anyway, if you don't check in with a character for a long time, then they ask like how things are going, why haven't you talked to them, and that's like a very powerful tool if you're somebody who's isolating themselves.
Yeah, and the characters in the games will interact with you all the time. Like, oh, I haven't seen you a long time. Like the NPC characters in the games, and you get to grow your trees, and then every time you log into the games, you can harvest your apples, your tomatoes, and then you sell them, and then you get fishing and all things. So it's very therapeutic for people. And then during COVID-19, it's always good. And lots of other games, they provide relatedness opportunities like guild system, and also from Korean games like Papa Kalincho, like some card games. What's the English name for that game? Or what? Rush Plus. Oh, anyway, thank you. What about 炸弹超人? No. 爆爆王. Bombers? No. Anyway, some Korean cute games. You get to interact with other people online and talk to them a lot. And also, World of Warcraft and League of Legends, it's always social pressure. It's too much, and sometimes will calm you down, don't want to play the game. So these are the 3 intrinsic motivations, and lots of other literatures talk about that. So this is the most important and biggest contribution in the communication and entertainment gaming research, need satisfaction, and some scholars define enjoyment or entertainment as a need satisfaction of these 3 intrinsic needs. And people, this self-determined theory says if you can satisfy these 3 intrinsic needs daily, you'll have better well-being every day. For example, you're autonomous. You can decide when you wake up, when you eat, when you play. Isn't it wonderful? And you get to feel competent all the time or whenever you want. So that's autonomous and competence, right? And you get to hang out with others and interact with people you love, and out of your relatedness plus autonomy. So that's very unique from the games. Of course, you can argue that does watching sitcoms give you autonomy, competence, and relatedness? Relatedness a little bit, but autonomy, you get to choose what kind of sitcom or what movie that you watch, but there is a chance that you will fail. It's like, out of my expectation, this movie is not funny at all, right? And autonomy, watching a movie is like you comprehend it or not, or is it hard enough for you to think about it or not? So if you apply these 3 intrinsic needs to other media, it seems not that affordable from other media, right? So digital games can afford these 3. So there's another research conducted by my professor and I. We created a game, which is extra game or health games. And inside the games, we created different elements for autonomy, competence. So there's a version of the game that you get to play the game with all the features on, like autonomy, competence, and relatedness. The other group of people, they will play the same game, but without the autonomy, competence, and relatedness options, like the elements are turned off. And you can see the enjoyment and the future intention to play the game are totally different from these 2 groups. With the afforded autonomous elements on, they're more happy, enjoyable, and they exercise more. But if the version without these elements, and they don't work harder. So this is the second one. I'm out of time. I still have lots of things to talk about this. I'm on this 11th PowerPoint slide, but I have 128 today. Because I see I'm trying to scram all the things in. Okay, I'll talk faster. The third one. No, I'm going. Nah, yeah. The third one is moral moral evaluation. So that's quite new, but it's already developed for almost 7 years, 7 to 8 years. If you're interested in morality, I think Dr. Nick Bowman is going to talk about morality in one of his 6 sessions. Morality, it means that each of us have 5 intuitive moral intuitions. For example, like harm and care. For example, for me, I do not think you can harm other people with or without any cause. You cannot kill people. So that's my morality standard. Like no matter what, you cannot kill anyone, even though he did something or she did something bad to you. Killing is not moral. So for me, it shouldn't. Harm and care, and there's so many different standards. So when you watch a movie or play a game, if the character does something that violates your moral intuition, you feel uncomfortable. For example, you feel like I should be loyal to my like country. Like loyalty is one of the dimension of the moral intuition. So, and then in the movies, the character is not loyal at all to the country, and then you feel like, oh, I do not enjoy the movie at all because it violates your. So for some people, they do not like this, and then the character does this. You would not like this. You would not form a positive affective disposition toward this character. So they are defining that if you enjoy this type of entertainment content, then it means that because it matches your moral intuition. So if it matches your moral intuition, then it's intuitively joyful. But if there's a conflict and then you think about it and feel like, oh, he kills his friend in The Walking Dead season 1 because his friend poses a great threat to his family and the whole group. So it's justifiable. Then you appreciate it, and then you feel like, oh, okay, then I actually enjoy, or I am okay with the entertainment content because it's reflective content or it reflects thought. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So, well, it's actually very complicated. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it here. Okay, the 4th one is going to talk about excitation transfer. So we're going to talk about this in the virtual reality, the 2nd week of virtual reality. So enjoyment can be because of the transfer of the suspense in the content. So we'll get to know more about excitation transfer theory at that week. So it's focusing on suspenseful and horror content. So why do people are afraid and scared of horror content but still love it? It's a paradoxical issue, but we can still understand where the joy is coming from. So this is stemming from excitation transfer theory. And my own research talks about arousal and self-efficacy are 2 key points of this development. So this is talking about development, the arousal aspects of entertainment. So we talked about responses. The first one, appreciation and enjoyment, and the second one is intrinsic motivation. The third one is talking about moral intuition, and the 4th one we talked about the arousal aspects and suspense. The 5th one is talking about it's a very interesting phenomenon that you're not the one who's playing the game. You're watching other people playing game, like game streaming. Like Yiyu's expertise, right? She has a company about esports and training and streaming training. So why is it fun for you to watch other people playing games? That's really interesting, right? Substitute entertainment. Like watching other people screaming over being killed by zombies. It's actually very fun. Watching other people like shocking and crying and because of the horror content is fun. Why is it? So it's a very appealing topic, and so some of our work, me and Nick Bowman's work or my work, is talking about the substitute playing. It's actually very interesting of substitute playing because there's a distance between you and the character. So you feel safer, and then you're like, I'm afford to to encounter this kind of too stimulating content. So that's actually an optimal. You're trying to use different strategies to create this optimal gaming experience to make you in a balance. So it's not too stimulating or too much, too gory for you. And the stimulating, the substitute playing is also very fun for lots of intriguing for lots of scholars. Okay, so we move forward. Okay, so we're going to talk about intrinsic motivation. So this is the paper that listed in one of the weeks of readings. It's called defining the enjoyment from need satisfaction. So they tested the game controls and social play. So they are arguing that if you're playing a social condition of the gameplay, it should lead to just you didn't see my mouse. Okay, sorry. If you play a social condition of the game versus no social condition of the game, it should contribute to your need satisfaction of relatedness. For example, if you're playing a multiplayer game, you should have higher relatedness need satisfaction. But those who are playing a single player game shouldn't feel relatedness, right? And social play shouldn't contribute to competence and autonomy because it's not related. And they said the game controls shouldn't contribute to relatedness, but it should contribute to your competence. For example, it's easy to control, or it affords you the ways to navigate through the game, so it's autonomy. So their argument is that it should positively contribute to competence and autonomy, but not relatedness. So they had an experiment and they failed because their manipulation failed in the beginning. So their game controls, they said autonomous control or not are totally reversing the scores. So I'm not going to go into detail anyway. They had this model in the final model, but their central argument is that if you have if you feel like your game control is more, you feel higher autonomy. So natural mapped controller, more autonomy, and no relationship to the relatedness, but natural mapping will lead to greater competence. And if you have like co-playing condition, it would contribute to the relatedness. If you see the scores here, it means that this is significant with the star asterisk here. It means that it's a significant statistically association relationship. And if there's no star here, it means that it's not statistically significant, so it does not contribute to this one. So you can see the natural mapping is contributing to competence and autonomy, as co-playing is contributing to relatedness and not the other two. And these three, when they are satisfied, all leads to significant, all leads to enjoyment. So that's the first study in communication that's using the experiment to control a little bit of the game features and see actually if the digital games can contribute and satisfy these three intrinsic needs and leads to enjoyment. So that's the core literature here. And the other one is the scholars have applied this self-determination theory to mood management theory. So mood management theory is also interesting. Mood management talk about how we manage our moods using media content. For example, if you're going to have a midterm exam tomorrow, if you have like half an hour time, what kind of media content would you choose? Any type, like, or you probably won't play any games or watch anything. But I mean, your mood should be very stressful, right? You have a midterm, like a very hard midterm tomorrow. If you get to watch a movie or whatever, what kind of movie would you choose? Like no movie to choose. You guys are great students. But if you get to watch a little bit of sitcoms, what kind of sitcom would you choose? Or if it's a movie, will you choose like Dark Swan? If there's, yeah, because you're so stressful, you're not going to watch another stressful movie Dark Swan is very stressful, right? It's talking about someone who's by personality or delusional. I'm not sure. Okay, so mood management theory, they talk about our mood. We always want to maintain it as in a really optimal level, like not too happy, not too sad, not too aroused, not too calm or boring that you are going to fall asleep. So there are four, and the main hypothesis of this theory says that people will seek any media content in order to make them feel better or feel happier. So for example, there's a mood one. Your mood is like this, time 0, and you select this media content, so it will alter your mood to that. For example, during Monday, if I get to watch a sitcom, I probably will choose some sitcoms that's funny, like funny and lightweight and very funny that I don't have to pay attention too much. That if I quit it in the middle, I don't care if it's okay. So, because it's during Monday, a stressful week, starting of the week, so I want somebody, some movie content or sitcom that's light for my mood. So this is the main hypothesis. Okay, so there are four dimensions I'm going to talk about in the theory. The first one is excitatory potential. It means that it means arousal. So whether this movie or a digital content or digital games is aroused or not. So for example, if it's during the summer, we always go to the amusement park and take the roller coaster, right? This summer break is 2 months and 3 months. It's so boring. I want to take the roller coaster to make myself aroused and very happy, right? But you probably don't want to go to the amusement park if tomorrow is the midterm or the final exam is too aroused for you. You want to come or you want to go to sleep. So excitatory potential, it means that whether this movie can arouse you or not. So Transformers is aroused. So this kind of like aroused movies always go to the theater times in the summer because one, schools are off, and second, summer break, and we are seeking something that's stimulating and fun. So excitatory potential. And second one, absorption potential. This corresponds to your point of view of escapism. So whether the entertainment content will absorb you to the world. For example, when I was in elementary school, high school or something, there's Harry Potter. Once you read it, you cannot stop, right? So it's really absorb you into that magical world. And every time I enter, I feel like I don't want to come out because I don't want to take exams and prepare for my colleagues' exam anymore. So absorption potential usually will provide opportunities for you to escape from your real world. So whether, for example, VR is definitely absorption potential high because you're wearing goggles, isolating you from the real world. So it has high potential. Third one is semantic affinity. It's exactly like behavior affinity. It means similarity between the content in the movie and or the digital games that you're playing in your real world. So for example, if your dog dies in the real world or your rabbit dies and go to heaven in the real world, will you watch Marley and I? That kind of movie? Or Marley and I is talking about a dog. Yeah, so or you probably won't watch any dog movies at that time because your dog just died. Jia-Yu, you're so happy. Why? Are you absorbed into some kind of entertainment? Okay. No, I don't. Anyway, okay. Have fun, but pay attention, okay? I love it. Yeah, it's okay. So semantic affinity means that sometimes you will avoid those things that happening in the real world. So for example, if you if you are breaking up with your partner, you probably won't choose a love story movie because it's like stabbing you all the time into your heart, right? Yeah, so that's semantic affinity. And the fourth one is hedonic valence. So if we talk about moods, there are two dimensions. One is hedonic valence, so positive or negative. So you want to, if you're sad, you want to watch something to make you happy. If you're so happy, you want to watch something that make you not that happy. I'm not sure, but the other one is arousal. Is the first one, excitatory potential. So these are 4 dimensions of Zielman's theory of mood management. By the way, if you're interested in entertainment theory, Zielman is your guy to go to. He's so brilliant. He created so many communication entertainment theories, and we're still using them. So, so these are 4 dimensions. So, a new scholar from Germany and team up with Michigan State professors Tamburini, they had an article. They said, hey, if we look at the 4 dimensions, we can see actually the first one, excitatory potential, homeostasis. It can be repairing your mood. The other 3 are providing opportunities for you to escape or as a means for distraction, right? For example, intervention potential, hedonic valence, or behavioral affinity, that's provide. Chose this content because you want to escape. But the first one has the potential to repair your mood. So they're developing this argument about digital games. They say, hey, when you're playing digital games, lots of people say, hey, we play digital games because we want to escape from our real world. When we come back to our real life, I still have my own problem there. But right now, the argument is that actually, if you find the right entertainment content or the right game, it can actually recover your needs or recover your mood. When you come back, you're energetic to be able to solve the problem, or you have the energy to be more brilliant, something like that. So here, video game can actually repair your needs satisfaction. So they design a very complicated experiment. So if we look at this, I'll just briefly talk about. They said they put you into condition to manipulate your competence and autonomy. So some people, they are status of competence are high, but some people are low. So they're put into a fake test. So you're doing tests and answering questions, and then I tell you, no, incorrect all the time. So you're manipulated into the low competence and low autonomy satisfaction. So they would test your affect, which is your mood. They found out that people who are high in high competence and autonomy, their moods are great, because if I answer questions that say, yay, correct, bingo, correct all the time, so they're happy. But if you're put into the group that you always answer the incorrect answers, then you feel bad. And then this will influence the game levels that you choose later. So those who are in a bad mood, or they feel like, oh, you said my answer is incorrect all the time, I will choose a more difficult level later. So it's interesting. If you feel like, oh, I'm not competent enough, you will challenge the harder level of the digital games. And that harder level of digital games will give you that demand. For example, you'll feel like, oh, it's very demanding, and also you have to contribute a lot, and it will satisfy your needs after, and then your enjoyment is increased. So if we look at, so there you are. Anyway, if we look at this graph, yeah, just look at this graph. So after the feedback, if you're in the group of low competence and autonomy, see the negative one, see their affect, their emotion is 3.46. Significantly lower than the positive group. It means that they're unhappy than them. Here we understand this, right? Okay, so it's significant. So after feedback, there are competence and autonomy. See here, competence and autonomy are both significantly lower than this group. Autonomy is also significantly lower than that. So see, the negative group subsequently chose a more difficult level of the gaming here than the positive group. So the difficult level of the gaming, they do feel like, oh, it's more difficult, so more demanding than the positive group. And after the game, did you see that from 3.646 to 5.44 and 5.7? It means that it's not significantly different anymore. It means that these are similar. Similar, it means that, oh, it's repairing, it's moved. So digital games can afford this opportunity to repair your mood. So that's why the research says that the digital games not only can distract you from your real world, it can also repair your need satisfaction. So it can actually solve your own problem later if you choose the right game. So and the autonomy and the enjoyment are similar afterward, pretty high. Okay, so I'm sorry that I go through the really difficult literature for the second week, but I think these are important. So these are the two main arguments from digital games research. First one is need satisfaction, and second one linked to the mood management theory to further extend it from distraction to repairing. So, for example, if you have a math exam, and then you play some math games to train your brain and train your math skills, it can actually boost your competence. And you feel like, oh, you're more able to deal with all the math problems, and it give you the self-efficacy and confidence later on. So you feel like you're good at the exam. So this is the hypothesis and from this game research. So these are the recent game research. So morality, character, player, and positive or negative implications like violent content or cheating. Lots of people are doing cheating as a topic for gaming research because there are legal cheating and illegal cheating in game research, and how that influence the governance and the balance and the whole world of gaming is also very interesting. And recently we also do well-being in gaming, like nostalgia of gaming, how does that contribute to your well-being? I think that's very important. Just like I was talking about Alone in the Dark with Grace over the break, and just make me feel very happy. And we also apply to different groups. For example, like me, I do virtual reality for elder people. I invite people who are more than 60 years old to our lab and see how they deal with the virtual reality gaming. So different age groups and different technology, and mobile VR, AR, motion sensing, co-location, mental health therapy. For example, Jamie Banks does a research how to use games to therapize, like to treat the post-traumatic problems from some military guys. So that's very effective. And now we are doing game streaming and gamification and transmedia storytelling. So that's a lot for games. Okay, so the next period, we're going to break it into groups, or next week, we can do that next week as well. And we're going to briefly talk about why games are emerged. So for this break, while taking a break, you can think of, in addition to out of boredom, why do people create digital games? Like what kind of context do you think, or what kind of context, or what is the driving force for digital game development? If you can think of that, we'll come back to discuss that over 10 minutes. So we'll get to the next session in 3:14. Okay, we have 10 minutes break. 第30页，
加油！
会不会后面应该讲蛮快的？有很多。
黄晨在线上。
对啊，但是有另外一个 Matsuri，
对，是日本同学。
Matsuri，
他今天才。
Hi.
Hello.
We're having a 10-minute break right now. Is it clear for you? Is the video clear? Is the audio or video clear to you?
Can you hear us?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hello. Okay. I mean, is the video or the lecture content clear to you? Like, are you able to listen clearly from our conversation before?
I can hear clear, but sometimes it's freeze.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. We'll try to get you on board after 3. Okay. Well, in the future, the course will start at 1:10, so you can join us at 1:10. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
他刚刚说 freeze 应该是因为有时候可能会站，就是会累格。
我听了，我以为他说的是3点以后才加。
哦，没有，他一开始就在里面。
哦，对。不过就是那个 freeze 可能会 freeze。
这可能是网络的关系。然后老师我
lag。
我把那个
Japanese colonialization Thursday also, and then I'm taking on Friday.
这个是那个核销的
对。跟你已经开始在粘了吗？好厉害！
我先赶快弄下来。然后这个是那个 Steam 那个。
对，这个好像要我的信用卡账单，
就一起。
对，然后你要跟我拿，就是因为我的信用卡账单还没出来，对，然后就是之后就给这样。
OK。然后，但我现在还没有弄清楚。
所以你知道就是粘贴出好，太好。
对，但是他有好多个人要签名。
对。
然后我现在还没有弄清楚这些人是谁。
好像是这个是你，然后这个是我，我也不知道。
经办人，因为我是做这件事的人，所以应该我是经办人。然后老师是
我好像是
确认。
对，然后其他就不用签了，就送出去，他们就会改。
所以
没有啦，计划主持人是我，计划主持人是我。
所以老师是签这2个，
我也不知道你要不要问？
我觉得我问确认。
你可以，对，好，可以问。
我应该是去 OK， 应该他在那个研发处那边。
对，可是我觉得你可以去问一下 Amity， 就是子瑜哦，就是说我请你去问他，可不可以帮个忙，就搞清楚这是谁跟谁。
好的，
对
，OK。
I have my student number here, and I didn't know what ID number you wanted, so I just put my ARC in there.
Okay, so this is your ID number.
I guess.
This is a student ID number.
Okay.
We just need
we need this one more.
ID number. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Are you also from the United States?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of US from here.
So what is ARC number?
Alien resident.
Here.
Like actual ID.
Oh,
To
like
be in Taiwan.
to be in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Not your social security number.
It doesn't. It wouldn't make sense. Nobody.
Yeah, nobody wants the
Nobody wants
U.S. social security.
Unless you know who it is, and then.
现在去问。
Oh no, I always because you the pencils, so I figured that you maybe do it. Wow. Right, totally. I don't. I'm really bad at actually like physically going, but like grabbing just that. That's the only reason I would want to buy I don't want to. It's my it's just because I've been watching so many people use this app, and it's funny because the one part of the like digital design that's not great at is like physically drawing, but everything else. It's no problem, but I was yeah. Oh, how cute! Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. About 5
So
to
many,
20.
yeah.
Which course?
Research methods.
Oh, it's Dr. Han.
Yeah.
It's a very important course.
Yeah, no. One of the papers I read is actually very useful for reading every other paper that I've
Oh.
everything.
Yeah.
But
What is
it's
it?
just like balancing out the time to get everything done.
It's just my first draft.
It's good because this course, I do not require you to read too much this year. Because last year it's always very demanding from this course. But yeah, this year is a little bit different.
It's a, do you know who they are? Oh, okay. They're an interest. They're a religious group that are banned in China, and they're very. I think they're very interesting group to study. So that's why I'm studying. Yeah.
Maybe you can try like university bookstores.
Yeah.
I know there's some waves.
Next to the main gate.
Oh.
No.
Well, I'm not right. Like I'm not I think. Maybe.
That's right. I just need to, I wanted to update my phone.
Having a good time.
Okay, it's time. Let's talk about the different patterns of play. So I'm going to go through this very quick. So there are 4 different patterns. The first one is competition. So if you want to design a game, so it should be competition because there is always competition to make it a game. The second layer that you can add is called chains. Actually, you have to be careful if you add this layer because chance can be related to gambling. So there's some like game company which is sued by customers because they lost money. So they're being judged as illegal gambling online. So if you, but those companies, they're actually doing borderline gambling. So, but for common games, it's very usual that you see the element of chance. For example, this game Tower Savior. So you have to draw a card to get to collect your characters and all things. So all these different types of games that if you involving characters and cards, there's always a chance. The third one is mimicry of situations. So role-playing games, it always fall into this dimension. So you can, like The Sims or the Sim City, Grand Theft Auto, these are all mimicry of situations, so role-playing. always involving like growing your characters and all things. So we get competition, we get chance, and we get mimicry situation. And the fourth one is a little bit hard to understand. It's called vertical. Vertical means it's a different sensing world and sensing type. So you get to have fun just to play with your sense. For example, like Portal. Portal is a game that you use first-person magnetic gun to you can get to attach lots of different things and shoot it to other places and make your own way to get to the next portal. So it was a very innovative game that Barack Obama recommends it a lot. So it's a award winner game, and also we have some type of play and some games that you just make yourself dizzy and people have fun of that. So that's also a type of play. So for example, this. You are going to experience this next week, and so is everyone. So this is a type of play because it's playing with your sense and it's vertical. It's actually simulation. It's not a game at all. But if you put a goal, yes, you need to go through the plank. So that's a simulation game. So Super Hot. Do you know this?
I hate this game so much.
Why?
It makes me so nervous.
Oh, nervous.
Like, you turn around and it's like.
This premise of this game is that if you move, then the time will go, so the enemy will move. But if you stop moving, then everything freezes. You get to look around, like stop moving, but look around and see where the enemies were and where they're holding the guns, and then once you move, you can move like a ninja and then get their guns and evade the bullet and all things and then break every level. And so it's a very challenging game. So we can try next week and see why Maddox hate it so much.
I don't hate it.
It's like but it's a type of play pattern. So in addition to design your game as competitive or adding a chance layer to it, mimicry, more and more games are developing and designed for playing with your sense. So it's especially for VR games, and so it's very interesting style. Okay, so what is a game? I'm going to skip the definition of game, so I'm just going to give you the PowerPoint. So if we look at the game, okay, there's 6 elements, fixed rules. You can't change the rules in the middle of the game, right? So it's not a game. It's more a politics game can be a game. That if you change the rules in the middle, then it's politics. It's not games anymore. Anyway, so fixed rules. You need to talk about the rules before the game begins. You cannot change the rules in the middle. Variable outcomes. If the game only has one outcome, then it's not a game. If you win all the time, if you fail all the time, then it's not a game. It needs to have more different types of outcome, like you win or you lose, or you win bigger or you win smaller. Third one, polarization of outcomes means that some outcomes are better than the others. You can just have one outcome and all the outcomes are the same. Then it's not cool. It's not game at all. You need to have some really good outcomes and some bad outcomes. And player effort. People need to contribute their effort to the game. If you don't contribute the effort to the game, then it's automatic training or automatic play, like the machine is playing for you, or you buy some other account. So somebody has already train your characters into 70 levels in World of Warcraft and sell it to you, then it's not, you didn't contribute any effort to it. Or any other like gambling games, you're only pressing the button. It's not real effort. And the fifth one is negotiable consequences. It means that all the consequences is negotiable. For example, if you do more, then you have better outcomes. And if you do not train your skills very harder or very well, then your outcome is not that great. So it's negotiable. And player needs to be attached to the outcomes, like really happy about the outcome. So these are the 6 important elements from the games. Okay, but I'm going to share this one. I'm sorry. What it was like skipping? Yeah, skipping other research. Yeah. Well, I love the definition from Eric Gordon. He is a game designer and also a professor in Emerson College in the United States. And he cooperated with Niantic. Do you know Niantic? Well, from Pokemon Go is Niantic. And they're developing games for like a really social greater good, like a really good cause, like exercise or designing or science learning. He said a games is meaningful in efficiency. It means that, for example, in a maze, the shortest distance from one point to this point should be a straight line, right? But in a maze, we always make you go through all different routes and then you get to the end. But although it's very inefficient to do this, but along the way you have fun and you got entertained. You're not just, going from this end to that end. It's efficient, but it's not fun at all. It's like not meaningful at all. But if you do this, you learn something and then you navigate very well and you have fun. So it's meaningful in efficiency. So they said gaming is to make the efficient things very inefficient. For example, like in super hot, like make it very inefficient. Why don't you just have a gun and then just shoot them? But they're like, you don't have any guns, but you get to freeze and then observe and then make the really cool plan to evade and to get to your goals. So it's meaningful, it's fun, it's nervous, it's suspenseful, and it's inefficient, but it's fun, it's entertainment. So I love this definition. And the other designer said gaming is a series of meaningful choices. Like, so is your life. Your life is full of meaningful choices. Whether you want to take the course, whether you want to take the IMIX program, is a meaningful choice, right? So game is also provide you lots of opportunities to make meaningful choices. And for me, the third one means that is your computer mediated experiences throughout your life. So for example, the gaming experiences are fake, like they're computer mediated. Mediated means that they're not direct experiencing the whole world. It's mediated experience, but that can also like change your life a little bit. So you can think of any experience that the gaming experience change your life. So that's even more powerful in VR. VR can afford you fake memories, and then you can't really tell the difference. If it's a long time ago, the fake memories can be your actual memories. You feel like you've been there. It's like your brain cannot tell the difference. It's mediated, but it's real to you. So it can actually change your life. So it's still philosophical, I'm sorry. But games can be very interesting and philosophical. Okay, so I'm going to skip this and save it for a later course. Actually, I'm just going to talk about the current industry. Treat 4 platforms of gaming industry. It called it a virtual amusement park. See, the COVID-19 has, let the Disney has to close their real amusement parks, and people are online playing with each other and socializing each other in the virtual amusement parks. So the trend of the industry now is to provide the platforms like Fortnite. Fortnite is also very famous, right? You guys know Fortnite? Is that 大逃杀? It's like survival game that you have to survive to the last one. Yeah, so these are platforms and people get to social with each other in these platforms, and they spend lots of hours there right now, like 1.2 to 1.5 billion hours there, and their users are exceeding the actual amusement park. So these are important issues because, for example, Epic Games, which owns Fortnite, recently is like trying to fight against Apple. Apple, they will require all the game developers to give them 30% of the commission. So they're like, they release an option to the game gamers, they said, if you just download the game through our own website, not through Apple or Google platform, we'll give you more reward and reward it back to you to the games. And Apple found out about it and was so mad about that and threatened to take all the Epic like Fortnite down. And they're like, we're not afraid of you. So they're trying to fight against of the big evil Apple. So they call it bad apples, and even shoot a commercial about how bad Apple is, you know, monopolizing the whole world. So it's very interesting that they even had a, you know, a concert online that attracts lots of people, like 10 million people attended the concert. Do we want to watch the concert a little bit?
Yes.
Thank you, Maddox. But first, I need to play this video, and it's not responding to me very well. I think it's because we're. Is it because we're using Teams? So it's.
So the videos inside we can open.
Yeah, because I tested in my own computer this morning several times, and it plays very well.
I think it's because we're using Teams.
Oh, Teams. Okay,
so
then.
We can find it.
Okay, then I'll. Oh, yeah, I'm happy that I have the internet, and you know the internet here at NCCU is really bad. So I'm still recording. If you listen to this, school, can you please change to the battery? And it's the computer is freezing right now. Anyway, so there's Fortnite and there's Roblox. Do you guys know Roblox? Yeah, is it fun?
Babysit really enjoyed it.
Babysit. It requires lots of creating, right? Like you create lots of things in it, and Minecraft, and the other one is Grand Theft Auto series. It's okay. We don't need to really.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, you can check out the Fortnite concert if you're interested in that. I'm so sad that I cannot show you all the embedded videos. Yeah. But we're going to talk about the following future games which are going to be published in Oculus. You guys know Oculus 2 is coming out last week. It's a great big news last week from Facebook. They have a virtual VR AR Connect conference last week. I logged into it at 7 o'clock in the morning. There are only 5 people left in the virtual conference, but the other people you can get to the conference through internet directly. So they said the newest standalone VR 6 degree of freedom VR machine only costs $299 US dollars. That's very competitive. Remember, it's always 500 or 600 for a standalone VR machine, and there are so many other games which are going to be published in Oculus. The first one is called Population 1. Population 1 is also a survival type of VR games, but it's really cool that you get to have the eagle eye view, and then you get to fly through the sky to the ground in VR. So you get to experience that again to see if you can handle that. See, actually, I think VR is very demanding. For me, if I use VR for like half an hour, I feel like so tired for the entire day. So sometimes I don't understand how these games can survive. I mean, yeah, it's very, very demanding. And there's also Beat Saber multiplayer coming out. Beat Saber multiplayer. Beat Saber is such a really popular game in VR, and then Facebook bought it. So it can be, yeah, so right now Facebook bought the most popular game, is trying to build its VR kingdom right now. Yeah, and there's a Jurassic Park VR. So you get to play with the dinosaurs, and you need to, and it's a room escape game. Yeah, so it's in a room and there are dinosaurs. You need to get out of the room, so it's really cool. And you need to use your body to evade the attacks from the dinosaurs, which I think is very creative. And also Star Wars VR. which I think the Star Wars VR animation in VR is very boring. I never get through it, but the Walking Dead VR is very cool. So yeah, there are so many games coming out. Okay, so if we look at the history of digital games, do you want to share why humans create the digital form of digital games? Like we have like actual games, right? Like the board games, and we have play, a different type of play, but why is there a digital form of digital games?
Didn't some most early games come out of just computer testing? I know Tetris.
Oh, Tetris,
was
yeah.
just like designed to test out Soviet computer, and then they were like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah. I
this
was
works as a
like,
game.
oh, yeah, it's to test out the performance of the computer. Yeah, definitely the computer or the technology involvement really is a driving force for some designers to test out some interactive elements. Yeah, in addition to that, there's also some driving force out behind of it, and we can actually look at that. So I want you to have a basic thoughts about this, and I can get through it in 20 minutes. Hopefully. So AS Douglas, yeah, tic-tac-toe, or Tetris, you mentioned it. Actually, do you guys know Tetris effect? Do you know what is Tetris effect?
What effect?
Yeah, effect. Tetris
You start
effect.
seeing shapes.
I'm sorry?
You start seeing shapes in the real world.
Oh, yeah,
Or,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
trying
Yes,
to
yes,
think,
yes.
like, how can I fit this into that?
Great. How do you know that?
I wrote an article on Tetris a couple of months ago.
Oh, okay. Tetris effect, it means that when you play lots of Tetris and then you see, different blocks in real world, you try to you feel like it's Tetris in real world. You want to combine it and diminish that line. So it can happen in so many things. For example, if you're playing a song in piano so much, you feel like you're listening to it all the time. So Tetris effect, it means like residual effects from engaging in some of the entertainment. So that's since you mentioned Tetris, and it's something that we get to know. But AS Douglas is the probably one of the most earliest, the earliest computer game invented is tic-tac-toe. So tic-tac-toe is this, and you get to play it with a computer. So here you dial the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the computer will respond to you. So that's a tic-tac-toe. I'm not going to show you the video, okay? But it was played in a really big, gigantic computer, TPT-1 or something like that. And we have this guy. He's a really great guy. I think he develops a TV, and he's an engineer. So he invented this tennis for two. Tennis for two is very interesting. Actually, it's like the earlier version of Pong. You know Pong? It's like you push there and then the ball coming back. So tennis for two, it's testing the controller ability to see whether the controller can respond to different angle of the reflection of the ball. And they're testing it in order to fulfill their need for autonomy, because it's during the Cold War. During the Cold War, nobody knows whether there will be an actual war. So Cold War means that they are frightening each other, say, hey, I have this, I have that. Do not. They're trying to intimidate each other. So in Cold War, people really wants to have this sense of control. So these designers, they started to play the controller so that they can give them the need satisfaction of control. So see, it's really interesting that when people are trying to design these things, they're trying to satisfy their intrinsic needs. And we have Steve Russell. Steve Russell, they invented space war. Why? There's a space race. Yeah, space race between the U.S. and what? Russia. Yeah, Soviet Union at that time. So space race, so he decided to make it a game, and then they can shoot each other. The first version of the game, you cannot shoot each other. There's only a spaceship, and you get sucked into that wormhole in the middle. That's a cross here. And then people will say, hey, why can't we just shoot each other? So he designed the game to be able to shoot each other. By the way, you can watch the videos online on YouTube. There's a Discovery Discovery documentaries talking about the evolution of games and the history is very, very interesting. So the Cold War, people are afraid of the war. It's just like, it's actually similar to right now. There's a battle between the US and China. It's about technology and economy, right? So it's like, if you invest in stocks or if you observe the stocks, you know what is fear of wars. You never know when China or the US is doing what the next move, what kind of move will influence the stock market. So it's like that. It's always uncertainty all the time. So in that time, people wants to control on something. So controller, if you push the button, it means you're going to fire a missile to the other country. But if we can control button, press it, and it means that you can fire a ball to the other player, and it can play the ball back to you. It's actually very interesting. So autonomy needs satisfaction. And also, it's all because of the military. The military is the driving force of digital game and so many other technology, like VR. Right now, the US is using VR to control the drones. Like the drones, nobody's flying them, but they use the VR. They can feel like they are inside the drones to look at the field. So it's actually invested a lot in aerospace and defense. So the drones can look at the boundaries of the countries and defend their territory, something like that. So digital games is greatly pushed because of the war. They recruit lots of engineers from the Europe and the Germany, and they design television, and also they test out all these different types of computers, and they have fun with it. So they created these digital games. And then in 70s, there's a rebellious culture, like being punk and rebellious culture and cool. So there's a hacker culture to really demonstrate your smartness and your skill. If you can hack something, you're awesome. If you can hack something and alter it and make it a game, you're even awesome. So NetHack and all this kind of games are developed because of these types of things. And PDP-1 is a really big computer. It requires lots of power and lots of things, technology to support it. So in the beginning, only the academic university have this kind of computer, and this computer is very expensive, and also only those university within the military wireless like internet, like it's called the super net or something, they're allowed to communicate with each other. So this is their culture. I think it's very interesting. Okay, so and then the computer games got commercialized. It's called Rothbard. Rothbard is the father of digital games, and he created this Magnavox Odyssey, the first console game machine in the world, and it called it the all-purpose box of the television. All-purpose box is the television. So at that time, people are already defining the role of television in the living room. You can see how Nintendo is evolving. It always is defining what is the role of television and gaming console in the living room, and how does that relate to the power dynamics between who holds the button and whether people can multitasking when you are playing games and also watching television. So it's interesting to analyze Nintendo using this. And Nolan Bushnell is the founder of Atari. He's the one who really got the gaming console into commercialization. And he also introduced lots of really popular gaming console into the bars. So see, the military make it great, and then they put it in the bar. See, gaming is such a great social tool. In the bars, people are like hanging out and meeting other different people, in addition to have a drink and have some snacks. If you are engaging with some competitive gaming, it can create the party atmosphere and also give you some other topics to talk about. So digital games actually is a social tool in the bar at that time. So you never guess, actually the game is developed because of the World War wars, and also people make it like commercialize it and put the culture in it is very interesting, and people get to escape from their real life, and also the military provide lots of funds and technology and equipment for this investment. So if we talk about punks, I like to introduce this game to you. I'm not sure whether you can download it. It's called Shuffle Pack Cafe. Yeah, we're in Teams. We're not able to play it through here. I embedded this video through YouTube. So Shuffle Pack Cafe. Let me, well, or you can get to, it's the reason why I want to let you know is because the old games doesn't really require lots of doesn't require lots of graphics or audio to do that, but it's really interesting because they have emotions and response. It's in TED Talk. I'm sorry, I thought it's YouTube. Of course, you couldn't find Shuffle Cafe in TED Talk. Yeah, this one. Okay.
And then we need to.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is a long game, and you get to play it, and it's just like Pam. So the first one you encounter is this. He did a good job. So games very simple, but the emotion transfers through this. Good job. Okay, let's see if you pass him, you get to play with him. Oh, he's very, you know, he's mad. Crawling. Yeah, so he played. I was hit, and I love because I was so attracted by their emotion. I love to the point. I love to see how they respond to you. That's very okay. So that's monkey, and okay, and then you get this. I don't know. So see, I mean, are really with the responses. It's fun. Did he say this? Yeah. So it's you can see how adding the social elements into punk can be very interesting.
And smoking a cigarette.
No, but we have. Should never break him. Let's see. Okay, he's come. He's up. Okay, and then we have. Okay, this one. So no, right here. No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then we have. Okay, he's challenging him. So there. Oh, this one. He doesn't have. He doesn't use his. Yeah. Actually, we can have virtual reality pun. That would be very interesting. Nobody's doing that, right? You can design this as a virtual. Oh, this is like the spell. Player knows. I'm not going to. Yeah, you can finish the video for yourself. But there's another one after her, the queen. So. Okay, so this is earlier games, computer games. Okay, and then I'm going to talk about this. Atari was very popular in the beginning, and they're like ruling the game world, and then they failed. Why? Because they developed so many bad games. For example, they developed E.T. You know E.T., that movie from 1983? You guys know that? Oh my goodness. Yeah, E.T. Phone Home. They created a E.T. game, and it was so bad. You have no idea what is going on. You can check it out online, Google it, and look at the video, and you don't know why it was there, and it was so bad. So there's a scandal that they published the game, and they have to buy them back and burn it in Mexico. Like, so created the illusion that it's popular, but actually they buy all the game back and then burn it in Mexico, and people dig it up and see so many Atari games at that time. So, and they are partying all the time at that time. So bad management, so it contributed their fall of Atari. So at that time, Nintendo came in. Nintendo also published their games in their game title in Atari, but they asked Atari, and Atari also published their game titles in the platform of Nintendo. And Nintendo say, I only allow you to have 5 games per year. It means that you have to bring the best to us, and you need to provide us a seal of quality. So every game is a guarantee. And Japanese game makers are really brilliant. They always design a game out of like a story or a rationale. For example, they are cute, and you look at Donkey Kong. Even the donkey is very cute, and they also invent space invaders because of the war, because they feel like why do people kill each other? You know, they have the atomic bomb bombing their land, right? So they're like, oh, reflective this war experience, we shouldn't design games for people killing each other. We should just unite each other and kill the aliens. So they invent this game. Do you guys know this game? It's actually, some don't, but these games is very interesting. And if you look at the game design, it's actually very very intriguing, because let's see, the sound and the beats represents your heartbeat. So when it comes down, you feel like the heartbeat and beats is like very faster, and it has the sound effects. It makes you feel more suspenseful. What? Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. I have to agree with the advertisement. It's okay. We can. I only have 11 minutes left. I shouldn't talk too much about academic journal articles. I can, talk about this next week in the lab while playing VR games together. Okay, that's not the game that. It looks really fancy. And when does it become like Chinese? Is it because?
Oh, because the language setting.
Yeah, I think so. Okay. That is not the game that I found, but ad blocker. Okay, ad blocker. Anyway, if you Google it, it looks like this, and you get to shoot the alien, and also there's a spaceship randomly pop up, and you can get that for extra points. And the point is that I want to show you the music and the design. It's moving. Oh, it's not space invaders. Yeah, but that's not the music that I'm going to show you. Let's watch a YouTube that's faster. I think they YouTube streaming, they will have their own music. Hopefully. It's silent. It doesn't have music. Oh, yes. Yes. Can you hear it? Yeah, and the beat, the center, and all things like that. So it gets faster. So things are like this, and it's successful. So it's a popular game design in the beginning. Yeah, and and also they are rising because they have a really cool strategy. So imagine you're Nintendo, you're Japanese. Right now you want to get into the US market. What kind of strategy will you have? If you want to get into the US market, let me fill you in with some basic information. Then they try to rebrand it as a toy. Like it's a it's a like a toy. At that time, people do not like toys. Like the toys are fading away. So they say, hey, it's a new toy. Still, nobody wants to buy their console. What do? So during Black Friday, they tell all the retail channels and say, hey, if you put our consoles in your store, we will buy it back if you don't sell them. So you just give me the shelf and the space. If you cannot sell them all, I'll take them back. So they don't have any pressure for the money and stocking. So that's the way that they open up some retailing channels, but they are creative. They look at the most popular toy at that time, which is Teddy Ruxpin. What is Teddy Ruxpin? Do you guys know that? It's a storytelling bear that you put a card in it, and it would tell you the what. I cannot embed the videos, and then I have to look at. Do you know where my video are?
Yes.
Here.
Sure.
Teddy Ruxpin bear here. I have. It's an advertisement of Teddy Ruxpin. Do you know that?
Oh, it's so scary.
Why? Why does he know that? You don't know that? Are you were born? Yeah, but so isn't Nina.
No, I'm like.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, okay, got it. Oh, you're 20s. Yeah, in your 20s. Okay, so you played this before? You know this before?
This was actually probably a few years before.
You were born.
Yeah, this was probably in like the mid '80s. I wasn't born until 1988, so like we already had like moved on to like Transformers or Ninja Turtles.
1988 Transformers. Oh yeah, there's animation, not the movies. Okay, yeah, but this one used to be the very very popular toy in the U.S. So what does they do? The Nintendo, they just bundle it up. Bundle is a really good strategy. So bundle it up with Teddy Ruxpin. So they said if you buy Teddy Ruxpin and also buy this, you love this. So it's bundled then up. So lots of people, they buy the Teddy Ruxpin and also count with the Nintendo platform. When they go home, they found Teddy Ruxpin cool, interesting, but they found Nintendo more interesting because the games are interesting. So people are starting to play that. And still, it's the games that matters, right? So they develop lots of games. They have one famous game called, what's it called? This one?
Pac-Man.
Yeah. It was called Pac-Man in the beginning, and it was a guy, and there is Mrs. Pac-Man with a bow tie in the head. So, they designed the game. Do you want to guess why they designed Pac-Man? This and eating the little dots. Do you want to guess?
I saw a slide you said like eating culture, but I don't
Eating
know what that
culture?
means.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Oh yeah, yeah, you see, yeah, it's they are very advanced. They said they look at all the market. Most of the players are boys, like boys playing the game. So they wanted to expand the gaming market to girls, and they look at the Japanese girls at that time, a long time ago. They feel like, oh, they love cute things, kawaii things, and cute means kawaii, and also they love to eat. They love to eat dessert and all things. So they feel like, oh, why don't we create an eating game? And we have a pizza, and then you take a slide out and you put a pepperoni there and then make it an eating game. So it was actually fun, and I think it's a gender neutral. You cannot really feel actually is for girls or for boys, although in the beginning they are trying to expand it to not just boys and also girls play it. You probably cannot feel the difference right now because right now there's no gender issue in gaming. It's like everybody's playing it, but in 80s it's really a very different at that time. So it's interesting that they created this game. So remember, Japanese, they created games, they always have this kind of story like Space Invaders, and they have this Pac-Man. They have stories behind it. So I'm going to stop here right now, but I would like to ask you, can you think of any games that are designed right now or recently that's based on like our culture or our real world phenomenon? Like maybe Detroit being human will be one to discuss, the robotic and the human, the ethical fine line between a robot wants to become a human because of the AI. What about any other examples, or not recent one, or any old games that you can think of? It was actually designed to reflect our culture and our environment. Can you think of that? Yeah, I just want you to think of what is gaming to you. What is a game? And from today's course, we talked about so many game things, but the takeaway from this, the history, is that actually people in early times, they design games not just for the purpose of making money, but for reflecting our thoughts and to be a human, to interact with the game so we can have control, we can reflect our own culture and environment. Think of any examples right now?
Trump election simulation.
That's okay. Okay, so what does that game do?
I don't play.
Oh, you don't play, but it's a Trump. Okay, that's more like a political game or a simulator. So there are lots of political games. Yeah. Any other thoughts? Like, yeah?
Maybe on the crossing the line between human intelligence and artificial intelligence. There's Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Here.
So can you explain more about?
I actually don't really know that much about it, but it's really highly anticipated game from CD Projekt Red. They're famous for The Witcher.
Oh, okay. So they're aiming. So what you were talking about is that they put AI intelligence in it. It's so advanced that it's surpassing the human intelligence, or?
It's sort of set in a type of genre, what they would call cyberpunk. So there's a lot of humans, but they're beyond human level.
Oh yeah, and you cannot really tell the difference between that. So it's actually challenging for players to really tell the difference of that.
I don't know if this would count.
Yeah.
What about detention?
Detention, yeah. Oh yeah.
About Taiwan.
返校. Oh yeah. That's more like also politic game. A reflect of the 228. Do we call it 228? Yeah, the event of the white horror of the government. I'm sorry, I'm translating directly from Chinese, so it sounds really awkward, like white horror. 白色恐怖 is like white terror. I'm sorry. Yeah. How do you guys know the Chinese and not? Okay, white terror. Okay, under surveillance and governance. Okay, so yeah, that's a good example. And also the second
Devotion.
Yeah, devotion is also reflecting the religious stuff. Yeah, so that's the culture. Yes. Any other examples? Great examples. I love to talk about Sega. Sega is so good. So yeah, but I'm running out of time. I'll just give you the PowerPoint slides and talk about them when we meet again here next week. Yeah, but any other examples? No, not playing. Candy Crush? Does Candy Crush reflect any? Or in the beginning of the mobile games, like Temple Run? No, not really. Not really. Anything? Can you think of anything? It's like so silent. Anyway, yeah, there's a game called Kennedy, Assassin Kennedy. It's so bad. It's a news game. Yeah, it's a simulator. you hold a gun, and then you're in the building behind the window, and then the Kennedy and his other officials and the police officers. There are 3 cars, and they're from your point of view, they're driving like this and then make a turn like this, and then your job is to shoot Kennedy. Yeah, it's banned, and it's called News Games. And I'm sorry.
Well, I was going to say one game I can think of that's really topical is Papers, Please.
Ah, I know that. Yeah, it's in my PowerPoint. Papers, Please, and you're trying to So what's that correspond to the real world?
It's just like I guess like spreading authoritarianism. You basically play like a censor.
Yeah.
You're trying to
check passwords.
Oh yeah. Trying to see why do you let this guy come into the country and why does this guy cannot, and you're trying to so it's discussing the immigrant issue, right? And so Papers, Please is also a serious game and talking about social issues. So lots of serious games talking about social issues as well. And also the Kennedy assassin game. We're going to talk about that and look at the video. Again, a news game week. Okay, lots to take away from this week. I'm sorry to spend you so much content because the 6 weeks are going to talk about taught by Nick Bowman, so that's why I have to scramble all things into 2 weeks. But I'll upload the PowerPoints, so you get to look at the history, all of it. And next week we're going to have fun with the VR games, and so come prepared and come here, and you're welcome to come to play the game. Okay, and so next week, please, if you have glasses, I would recommend you to wear contact lenses. That would have the most comfortable experience. But if you don't have contact lenses, it's okay to wear glasses as well. So the most comfortable is to wear contact lenses for VR. Okay, I'll see you next week. And do you have fun today? Just a lot of content. Okay, cool. I'll see you next week. And do remember to log into the platform. Kenny will send you notifications to log into the platform. Okay, cool. And 320, room 320 next week. See ya. And think about who you want to team up with. We're going to do the group thing next week. Okay. Thank you.
How many people per group?
4 people per group. 4. 4 people for 4 people per group.
4. So 1 more. We need 1 more.
我刚刚忘记已经讲，然后他说就是金马那个，然后证明人跟计划组成
都是我，好，
然后这个是系主任，
好，
然后这个考完应该就是
好
，OK。除了这张之外，还有另外一张要签名，然后那一张需要经过一个系统，但是
可是这个是。而且因为我们这个不太一样，我们这个是计划是教学的，我就不太，就可能要问一下那个研发处那边，研发处就是 Kenny 明天会去把所有证明都给他，然后他就会拿到一张经费表。对，应该都拿等那个经费表就可以来核销。
对，是要需要那一张单。
对，然后但是我不确定有没有要进系统。因为进系统通常是什么科技部计划或什么之类，他才要进系统去弄一个。但我们这个不是科技部计划，它是学校的高教师计划，就不确定他还有没有要进什么系统这样。所以这个部分可以问主技师。
OK， 对，所以
那你帮我跟 Kenny 说，他明天去找。就是去交那个经费制作经费表的时候，就问他说核销的时候有没有需要进系统？
要不要进学校？
对，你就请他帮你问这样。
OK， 好的，
太好了，谢谢。这个难呢，我觉得。对，但是反正会做好准备，会一直推荐，对不对？然后就补什么这样。
所以它不会是那种，比如说我每个月底前就要完成，它是时间比较长。
没有，他就是学期末之前要核销完，但是就是因为都是我们在垫钱嘛，比如说像是那个游戏的费， 对，像是这个77，如果是你垫钱的话，你赶快报，你才能拿回来钱。所以这个你也要讲说这个钱要给谁。比如说那个游戏的就是要还给我，然后77可能是要还给你，或是 Kenny， 或者是林飞还是谁？对，所以就是你就要提供你的账户这样子。好，
那我打好。
Noah, do you have any questions?
No, I should be able to figure everything out.
Okay, cool. So have you joined our Facebook group?
No.
We use.
Added you to it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great, thank you.
Got you.
And we're going to break you into like you need to find a group like.
Yeah, I already did.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Way ahead of you again.
Huh?
Way ahead of you.
Yeah, I know. He's a gamer.
Using line.
See you next week.
Bye. Next week in 320. Not here. 320. Third floor. Yeah. 啊？你说什么？有没有过来一点？拍谁？你是说有没有做 presentation 对不对？就是分组吗？分组就是我不是有讲吗？没关系，不用对不起，我只是说我怕我讲不够清楚，就是那个每一组啊要就是我们有4周我上课的部分，我除了上课以外呢，它那个课程的主题是好玩，比如说广告游戏啊、新闻游戏，那就会叫你们去找最新找一篇期刊论文是跟这个主题有关，然后就讲一下他现在做什么，就是报告那一篇就好，然后再找相关的业界相关的一些例子，比如说。新闻游戏，最近台湾有什么新的新闻游戏，就给大家看一看，就是一个像是补充，然后又很好玩的一个部分，你懂我意思？所以就这么简单。那期末报告的话就不一样，期末报告是自己做自己的，当然也可以2个人做。那你是大学生，我有说过，大学生期末报告可以就是做一个 project， 比如说你就是对一个议题，比如说。游戏里面的艺术游戏里面的摄影或者 whatever， 你要弄一个论述，你就可以去找大家论述谈，怎么样把它整理一下就 OK 了。但没有啦，但你还是要提出自己的想法或什么之类，就是你可以比较自由，那你可以抵上一个游戏啊，或者是你可以跟硕士班学生一样，硕士班学生是要写一个 research proposal。research proposal 也是很难写哦，前面的文献要看很多，就是期刊文。然后他要去，比如说他想要做的是游戏暴力到底会不会让人 aggressive， 那他就要看超多论文，然后说大家都怎么说，那你觉得为什么会这样？然后去做一个像是提出一个实验或者提出一个什么样，所以就是因为你大学生的要求不太一样，就是说你可以比较自由，可以做一个专题的就可以了。
好，谢谢。
OK。
I have something to consult with you.
Yeah.
I'm an MOE scholarship student from Thailand this year, and there is a regulation that my grade.
Thailand.
Thailand.
Thailand. Yeah. You're what elect student or exchange student?
It's a scholarship program.
Oh, okay.
From MOE.
Okay.
And I'm a little bit worried about my score because the regulation of
the
scholarship said
90.
80.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. Everybody is like 89, 80. Sometimes if you behave like if you score really high, it's like more than 90. But most people are like 86 to 89, and then really great students, and they will have 23, even 29. No, I'm sorry, 93 or even 95. Don't worry about that.
If my grades could not reach 80 or
No. Okay. No. Usually I won't give that low. Except for people who never showed up, I'll give like 70. Which is like I won't see you again, but I'll give you a borderline, like let you pass, but 70, yeah. But I usually will give like more than 85. We're talking about grade because she has a scholarship. She just said if she behave really bad, like perform really bad, I have to alert her. So we're trying to build an alert system for her scholarship. But no worries. It's a fun course. The point is not grade or something. It's more like if you can get to know more about games. So yeah, so no worries. No worries. Sorry about too much content today. Hopefully you learned.
I did.
Yeah,
Yes.
great.
A lot to digest.
Okay. Especially you only need to listen. You don't need to read journal articles. It's